Call this meeting to order. This is the Cascade Charter Township Planning Commission meeting of Monday, June 3rd, 2024. I'd like to record the attendance that all members are present, all 7 members. Please join me in Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we modify the agenda ever so slightly. I would suggest that we have for Article 7, the public hearing, and then after the public hearing, we table the master plan comment, review, and recommendation until after Article 10, so that we can fast forward some great people who are here tonight and they don't have to stay if they're here for either of the other cases.
Unless somebody's here for the master plan from the audience.
No, if they are, they get to go first to the public hearing.
Okay,
And they don't have to stick around for our discussion.
Still have the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
May I add to that?
Yes, Member Bruno.
Is it possible to maybe strike Article 5 to a future meeting? The minutes have enough errata in them that I think we could end up spending.
I think that is a stellar idea, and we can provide those comments to staff if staff would be agreeable to that. Okay,
Yeah, there's a lot of comments.
then we can send them and then we don't even have to review the minutes. I think that's wonderful.
Okay,
I would make that change to my motion if you would.
I would second or support.
Can I make a,
all in favor?
wait, whoop.
Yep,
Yes.
So under the Open Meetings Act, if you want to make changes to the minutes, the changes have to be made at the next meeting. You can approve them at a subsequent meeting without changes. But the way the OMA reads, if you're going to amend them, you should do it tonight.
amend the what, minutes?
The minutes, if you have changes to the minutes.
haven't
That's what I
approved them
gathered. I
yet,
don't
though.
know if that's what you're
We
talking
have not
about.
approved the
We haven't
minutes.
approved them yet.
Understood, but if you have changes to the draft minutes.
That's fine. There is a whole list. Is there anything that suggests legally that we cannot table this?
You could not make changes to the draft minutes if you consider it at a future meeting. Because the OMA says the amendments have to be made at the next meeting.
So let's just do it at the end.
So you want to put it at the end, so you have time. I think that's a better approach than tabling it.
Okay, move the meeting minutes to the end of the meeting.
Second, again, third time.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Yeah,
So that means we have to get through all this and that, like, at this point, should we cut something from this? We're gonna be here for.
I still don't understand why.
You
we
know
can't
what?
table
If
the
it gets
minutes.
too late, we'll push some of it to the next meeting.
Okay, Article 4, is there any conflict of interest?
Just the clock.
None noted. Okay. Approve the minutes for May 20th, we're gonna push that to the end. Article 6, like to acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak on any non-agenda items on the table. Do we have anybody who'd like to make a general comment? You have 5 minutes.
Point of order, Mr. Chair, I don't see, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see public hearings for 3830 or 3834. Is that right, Andrea? Do we have?
Correct, they're both site plan reviews.
So if they want to talk about those 2 items, I would perhaps offer that to them.
Unless you're the applicant.
Does anybody want to talk about those items in particular? Okay. All right. So we now go to the public hearing for Article 7, public hearing only.
Make a motion that we go to public hearing for case number 243844, the 2024 master plan, public comment, review, and recommendation.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None noted. Please step forward and let us know what comments you might have.
Regarding the master plan.
Master plan comments.
Is there anybody on Zoom? I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support. Moved and supported, all in favor, say
Hang on,
aye.
Nick has something.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Everybody met Nick.
yes. Hi, Nick. Nice to meet you.
Nick,
Hi. Hi, this is a master plan comments, is that right?
yes, correct.
Okay, yeah, I have a couple comments. First of all, one is that, I think the big picture of the changes to support the village development, to preserve, the natural feeling in other areas, and to focus on how to redevelop the village and surrounding areas in a more useful way is good. I have a couple of points that I think may feel like oversights to me, or just not quite thought through enough. One is that, in terms of density, I don't think the densities are high enough in the redevelopment area to have the right effect. The whole point of that is to have more development in areas that are already developed, to take the pressure off the areas that we want to keep as open space type areas. I think you can look at what Ada has done in their village with denser development in the village, and that, at the very least, I think that we should be at least close to that for the density in the village area. Then the other point I had is that, regarding the priorities from the survey, the number one issue of concern on the survey was, high speeds on the main roads in the township. And I did not see any specific statements that address that. I did see a specific statement addressing speeds in residential neighborhoods, which I think is the third item in that in the issues survey. So to me, if that's the number one issue of concern to the community in the survey, I think it's sort of a miss to not have something in the master plan that addresses an issue of major concern to the community. So those are my two comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on line?
Really quick, point of order. I heard Nick say his name. for the record, name and address. If that's okay.
Yes,
Just like if they're standing at the podium.
yes.
Yes, please. Tom, I know it's you, but can you say your name and address so that we have a?
Name and address, yes. Tom Richardson, 3438 North Applecrest Court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Supervisor Les Bruntz. Good to see you guys or hear you guys. I just wanted to make a quick comment about the roads. The strategic plan covers all issues township wide, public safety, lots of different things, but the master plan specifically is more, I'm telling you guys, this, but this is more to Mr. Robertson's concern. This is specific to land use and zoning. So roads and speeding, one, that's a road commission issue. Two, it's not really appropriate for the master plan. So it's not that we're ignoring it. It's just that there's an appropriate place to bring it up, and it's worth mentioning, but it's just not really part of land use zoning within this issue as much as what he's saying. So noted, but separate topic. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other comments online? Yes, Tom?
Yes.
You have another comment?
No, I don't. Did I hit the raise my hand button by accident? I'm sorry.
Okay. You're off the hook.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support?
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None noted. Okay. So, and now move on to Article 8.
Molars, North America.
Case number 243830, Moeller, North America. Madison will present. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We, as Chair Moxley said, have molars here tonight at 5215 52nd Street. We have various representatives here tonight with John Frago and Chad Mansorelli, if I'm saying that correctly. They are here this evening for site plan review and are requesting approval for an addition and an additional driveway entrance. This property is just south of the airport between Kraft and Patterson. They're requesting a 5,515 square foot addition on the north side of their building as part of their existing manufacturing warehouse. And then also on the northwest side of the property, a new loading access driveway. And then the request from you all tonight is for a site plan approval. I won't go into the weeds of the whole staff report, but in general, the main conditions that we'd like to address tonight were just some concern about the parking. As you saw in my overview, kind of the history of the property, there's been some deferred parking as it's been reviewed by the Planning Commission. And that's kind of carried over tonight as the request is for an addition of 5,000 square feet. So we're looking at the additional parking required for that specific expansion would be 4 parking spaces according to our section 1913. So they have provided an additional 8 parking spaces to meet that standard. In total, there's 84 parking spaces separate from the loading spaces on the site plan. And it has been requested, and we've discussed with the applicant that we would like to see where on the site that deferred parking would be. I did make a note that if the use were to ever change, we'd still like to know that the site can accommodate the appropriate parking for the square footage of that building. So I did put a condition of approval, and the applicant has agreed to it that they can submit plans that show where that parking and reserve would be. The other item to mention, the new driveway access on that northwest corner would be accessed through an existing private drive. I did include that egress ingress agreement that they have with the property owners that are adjacent to them on that west side. It does address maintenance in the long term, as well as other various agreements that they have in between properties. But it is subject to the private street standards that we have for the township. So the applicant is also aware that we have been discussing this, and there are plans already to repave that access road. And so an additional condition that I added for review and approval would be that they meet that private street ordinance approved by township staff prior to constructing that new driveway access to their property. Other than that, the signage is in compliance, the setbacks are in compliance, the height is in compliance, the lighting is in compliance. The landscaping, again, wouldn't change from previously approved site plan, but I did include that information in there for you for reference. In all, I would recommend approval for the addition with those recommendations from staff that the stormwater maintenance agreement is submitted and registered with the county prior to their construction beginning. And that was noted in our township engineer's review of the stormwater on site. The second condition would be that the number of parking spaces deferred is indicated on the site plan as being in reserve or as future parking, and that the private street would be brought up to standard and approved by township staff prior to that new driveway being added. That is my summary. Are there any questions right off the bat from you guys?
Give me it first.
Okay, Jimmy.
So on the private drives, we're working on having those go to county standards, not the 30-foot wide. What are we doing on this? 66 feet wide, I believe is the county standard.
Yes, so the applicant is aware that they're subject to the private street ordinance, so that's what my condition is referring to, is that we have standards that need to be met, and part of those design standards are, a lot of them are in line with the county standards. So that was our main concern, is that this road doesn't look like it's quite adequate right now for an additional
Correct.
access, so we're working out with them what they're repaving, and the township engineer is aware and involved as well.
And another part of that is it's built to county standards for depth of base and pavement.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Ellen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I've read it like 6 times and my brain's just not getting it. Run through the numbers with the parking spaces, because as I read it, they're required for 251. They have 217 that they can provide, but they want to defer so that they only have 128. I don't, like, I'm a little.
Yes, I had a similar experience too. So this property, as you can see in my overview, has had a number of expansions since their original building in 1987.
Okay.
What was a little bit lost on me is exactly how many of those parking spaces over time from those previous existing parking standards that are different than today.
Okay.
So I couldn't calculate an exact number that has been deferred over time, but they did get a variance to reduce the number for 34 parking spaces, which would stand as the variance was granted.
Okay.
So to try to give more clarity,
Yeah.
I included the parking spaces that we would require just for that addition, because that's really what we're reviewing tonight, is the addition. But for the sake of having full information, I also included the number of parking spaces that would be required for the entire building if it were reviewed with today's zoning.
Okay.
So that's why there's probably some confusion, is that previously the standards were different, so the deferments may have been a slightly different number based on that standard. So I'm sorry for that
No,
confusion.
it's okay. So how many hundred, are they having 128 now? Is that what they're gonna have?
They have a total of 84 parking spaces. So
And they're adding 34 to that?
no, they're adding, the 84 is total with the 8 spaces that were added.
Okay, so
So
the 84 is
also-
what they have now, or what they're
Yes.
going to have.
So they have previously been reviewed as addressing the parking based on the needs of the building,
Right.
which came down to the number of employees. Moeller's might be able to speak better to this as
Okay.
well, like
That's
more details about it, but in general, they've been reviewed for parking requirements based on the number of employees. So previously they had 55 employees, now they have, I believe, 63 or 68. 60.
Okay.
So they
You
have.
Take
inc-
128 and defer those, but show them that they can have them, they aren't.
Yeah,
making
so
them, they're just-
basically,
Okay.
we just want to make sure, is this site?
Yeah, I get it.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I want to understand the numbers, because I don't understand the numbers.
And it was a little confusing for me as well, so I did my best to make it
Yeah, no.
clear, so I understand your questions.
Okay.
Other questions for Madison? Ryan?
Kind of touching on the same point, so you state in these setbacks that the addition is not going outside the existing footprint. But it is, right? Looking at the drawing. I drove out there on the way here, so I was almost late. This actually extends in the parking lot. And doesn't it negate the 24-foot wide two-way in front of those parking spaces? So are they gonna lose all those parking spaces immediately to the north of here?
No, so the current north side of the building has kind of an indent, right? So they're basically filling in that indent. And they're still within the required setback, and they've still maintained the maneuvering space required of 22 feet.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not the drawing that I have, so I don't know the misconnection somewhere.
Yes.
Right here. It's filling in there.
It sticks out.
That's a pavement. That's just pavement.
That's just the demo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just demo.
Match
Okay.
existing pavement thickness, the note says.
Okay, I was looking at page, whatever, I think this is 51. Okay, so it's all shaded the same. So,
Thanks, Andrea.
I'll get there.
okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, there's 51.
Yeah, 51.
Okay, any other
Okay.
questions for Madison? Would the owner's representative Mr. Frago like to come up and address this? Please give us your name
Yep,
and address.
Chad Mancarelli, Land and Resource Engineering, 21213 3 Mile Road, Northwest Walker, Michigan. So yeah, I guess speak, did the building shape get clarified enough?
Yeah, I think
That-
so. I'm just looking at a
okay.
different page.
I do have a full set of plans here. I don't know how, I guess, to work the document camera that,
Oh,
if you got it on there, then we should.
Push a different button. You're asking a
All
lot.
right, that's all right, man.
Too bad this-
All right, so we're gonna go to dot cam, then you can display here. And you can kind of point and they'll see what you're showing.
Oh,
We're just proud because we figured out how to use the computers over here.
Usually we bring
honored.
the diesel. So. So yeah, I guess this is the layout sheet that we have here, so that shaded, kind of this shade here is just pavement being replaced, and then the building line is here, so it's gonna stay within the four corners essentially of the building. And then you can kind of see the maneuvering spaces that we have, so we're maintaining that. I think as Madison said, we're adding some extra spaces other than what, or more spaces than required for this addition here. Essentially the purpose of this kind of section of the building is gonna be warehouse, so it's gonna be kind of truck pull through, so it's not gonna be, you know, kind of the manufacturing use there anyway. And then we talked about the deferred parking there, so our hope is to get those spaces in this corner here, and we think there's enough room to do that, so. All of our stormwater on site, you can probably, if you know, the township engineer's memo, all that stormwater goes south here to this low area. So basically, we're gonna, you know, and eventually when that parking does happen, we'll just continue that stormwater line down to this low area here.
And the outflow is restricted by. a little
So we're
dam.
not, yeah, we're not increasing the size of the outflow. We actually are proposing kind of a vegetative swale here, that's coming off of that driveway. That's gonna basically, there's enough volume in that to handle like your low level water quality channel protection volumes. And then you probably saw the airport wants kind of a dry basin there to prevent waterfowl and birds and whatnot from, you know, from hanging out in there so they don't get hit by the plane. So the basin is designed to drain dry. So, but yeah,
Good.
no increase in pipe size offsite or anything like that.
Okay, good.
So. And then I guess just one comment about the driveway and the private drive there. If we could, you know, we'd like to work ourselves out of this site. So I know Madison had mentioned that the repaving of the private drive would be preferred before the driveway entrance is constructed. If we could do that actually last, just so we can track out of there and we're not we're not damaging, you know, what that new private road essentially with the equipment going into the site to build it, that would be, we'd ask for that,
It's reasonable.
so. And then, yeah, as Muller's back there said, you know, 68 employees, so really no need for additional parking for this site, but we recognize the need and maybe in the future if it does change.
Alan, do you have questions?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm clarifying the number. So you want to take 128 spots and defer them and put them in that corner.
Yep.
And the remaining, I'm gonna, based on my math, 89 are probably the existing spots that you guys have, because you want the whole
80.
total supposed to be 217?
I think it's supposed to be 212 from the, is
Because
that?
that's, I've got 212, but on here it says 217. They can
Okay.
only provide 217 parking spaces on site and wanted to defer 128. So that's why I'm like, is it
212.
212? Okay,
So yeah.
okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure I got the math right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, yes, essentially, we have 84 on site right now. And we want to defer those extra, you know, approximately 130 or whatnot to that upper northwest corner.
Okay.
So.
You don't anticipate, I'm sorry,
Other questions for Chad?
Yeah.
Chris?
so you don't anticipate large employee growth or anything like that?
I don't, I mean, I can, Morris can kind of see.
Yeah,
that.
right now, it's,
You need to come up.
You gotta come up so we can get you recorded, sorry.
Name and
Give us
address.
your name.
Tom Wagner, 3930 Crest Court Southeast.
Okay.
And I'm the executive vice president of Molars. Right now we have 68 employees. We don't really see a big growth in employees right now. What this is going to do is just give us some elbow room in our manufacturing space, allow us to go vertical with some storage. And we do own, of course, the adjacent lot. And when we come back here to talk about a 30,000 square foot expansion, we'll definitely be talking about a substantial employee growth. But right now, I don't see any immediate plan to expand our employee base.
What is your projected growth in that site in terms of?
Dollars?
Well, employees, I mean, we can,
Probably between
is it less
2
than
to
90?
3. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because if you have 90 parking spots, that's where I'm going with
Yeah.
it, right? So you don't need these deferred spots
We-
until the
we
use
don't
would
yet.
change.
Yeah.
Got it.
Good, good.
Any other questions about the business?
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Chad, come on up.
Yeah, I mean, any other questions for me regarding site plan?
No, I think it looks good.
Thank you. Very nice.
Appreciate the detail.
Yep.
Okay. Discussion among the planning commission members.
I'd make a motion that we approve case number 243830 with staff recommendations,
May
by all means.
I would support that with a change to recommendation 3.
Okay.
Which discusses that the street needs to be brought up to standards before. I agree with them. It should be done at the end of the project, not the beginning of the project.
So how about this? The private street, it is agreed before any construction will start that you will do it at the end of the project. Is that all right?
May I make a point, a
Yeah.
statement just to that? Actually, we're just looking that up. Section 2109, posting a financial guarantee, the planning commission can actually require a performance bond for.
You guys all right with like a $20,000 performance bond? Sure. Thank you. So I will amend my motion. We good? All right. Yes, I amend my motion that the private drive is agreed before work will start and will be completed at the end of the project, and a $20,000 performance guarantee will be obtained before the project begins, so that the road is completed.
I'll support that.
Moved by member Nordike, supported by member Reese. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I like that they've got the deferred. That's critical. I think that's definitely gotta be in there. I mean, if these guys ever move for whatever reason, we gotta have that parking there for whoever comes in after it. I don't think they need it right now, but I think it's in there. I just don't like that it's also lower than what it should be. I mean, we're already giving them a 20% easement on, I mean, that's.
We've got less than 90 employees and 90 spots.
Member Reese.
I understand, but what happens 5 years from now when they're not there and now somebody else comes in and wants to bring something in and they're like, well, crap, we've got 400 employees.
This
Can't use
parking
building.
conversation
Yeah.
comes up on every one of these buildings.
Yeah.
And everybody's asking for diverted spaces because we're asking for more parking than they need.
Okay.
I made a note in other business, we should talk about how we're coming up with these parking numbers. Maybe we need to modify our formulas.
It's per square foot, isn't it? It's for every square foot
Right.
you gotta
Yeah,
have.
but my point is that our formula might be,
Yeah.
might be dated. That's all I'm
The-
saying.
The thing is, Scott, that when somebody moves, like these guys, they only need 90 spaces,
Right.
right? What about the guys behind them? Right? They
Different
need,
businesses have different demand.
they need 200 spaces and guess what? Well,
Chairman?
we can't go that.
So, but I hate the idea of an impervious
We have a
space.
motion on the table.
I'm just saying that now that building sits empty because the next 3 people that are looking for a building need the spaces and it's not there.
Thank you, Andrea.
So, yeah.
Couple things.
Andrea?
The deferred parking is actually a good way to handle that because we prevent
Okay with
impervious surface. And on top of that, if Madison drove this site, we drove this site a couple times. Commissioner Bruno, you could probably speak to that. We just wanted to make sure that their parking lot wasn't overflowing the way it is right now, and we didn't see any overflow based on
Good.
just traveling out there. But also, if they move out and someone else comes and wants to use this building, they're gonna have to come back for site plan review, and we can review their use.
So
at
if they
that time.
can't get 128 spots in that deferred area, let's say they can only get 120. I mean, I believe the comment was, I think we can get hundred and twenty-eight.
May I?
Member Bruno?
I think I'm on the same page as you. We seem to be changing and I'm not really completely sure why. I think it's with PUD versus industrial. But can we, rather than make a motion to approve this, can we have them come back and show us? Can we treat this as a
So-
basic? Because what if it is 120?
I have a
versus
motion on the
90
table that's
versus
been
no?
supported. I'm not willing to amend it. I'm sorry.
Okay, motion has been made, it's been supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed,
Nay.
2 nays. 5 yeses. Motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Okay, case number 243834, Andrea.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah,
I'm very proud that I can do this now.
That's funny.
Where'd my mouse go?
I know I'm cool with Ryan because we always disagree. Get along well. I just looked at him, so we're still cool. No, I'm
He's just
cool
more
with
afraid
Ryan.
of me, right?
Yeah, I know, I'm afraid. I'm cool with Ryan.
arrangement coming.
Ryan and I enjoy constructive debate.
Absolutely.
See?
All right, you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Fire away.
the next item on our agenda is going to be 24. Wait, hold on, let me get my mouse. This is gonna be challenging and I'm committed to learning how to do it.
38, 34.
5725 and 5775. 5755, 52nd. So this is just east from the site that Madison just brought forward. This is gonna be on the north side of 52nd, just east of Craft, with the airport on the east, airport runway to the east. To the north is also industrial properties. This would be in the industrial zone district, and also the overlay B. Current property is vacant.
You
The
know, it said
applicant-
that it's located on the north side of 36th Street, but it's 52nd.
52nd. Oh, sorry. Yes, the applicant is proposing an 110,000 square foot building. Stop it, I can't concentrate.
Sorry.
110,000 square foot building with 4 different units. 99 or 90% of this building is proposed for warehouse. The additional 10% is allocated for office space. This is going to be a site plan review, no special land use. The applicant understands that if the tenants right now are not defined, so that the applicant understands that if an applicant comes in and proposes a use that would require a special land use, we'll be back listening, or special use permit, we'll be back listening in approving that as it comes. So most of the site is compliant, but there are a few issues that I'd like the planning commission to consider. First off, the southwest part of the property is a wetland, and they have applied to Eagle. They've done the wetland delineation, and the boundaries of the wetland are marked on this site plan. But Eagle has come back and said, wait a minute, it appears that there were some things that were done out of order. You put a driveway in somewhere in between 2018 and 2020. And we don't know that you did not have a permit for that. So they're gonna have to work with Eagle to clean that up. I don't think that will stop this development. But I'm sorry, you approving this today will not hinder the work that Eagle is already doing. I've also reached out and haven't heard back yet from the road commission, just to see, you know, did they get, there's what's called a farmland, access drive permit that they can get. I might not be saying the name exactly right, that they can get through the road commission, and the road commission is checking if that has been, issued. I don't know yet. I haven't heard back. So that, I don't know if you guys were able to look, but I did send a link to all of the Eagle permit. Eagle does a really good job of putting all of their information out. So anytime they get a document from an applicant, or anytime they issue a document, they put it on their website so that you can, it's an open portal for the public. We also got comments back from the airport. They have some concerns about the stormwater. Okay, I'm gonna switch. The applicant is proposing a retention pond on the property to the east. So the two properties that are in question for this application are these two westernmost properties. The applicant also owns these two properties to the east, and they're proposing to put their detention pond. No water. I think I'm saying that right. Retention?
Detention, I think you're right.
Detention. Pond here, due to some of the soils over here to the west, the airport has said they don't love that idea. They're afraid that the way that the water is going to drain onto the runway. So one of the conditions that I've recommended, if you do choose to approve this, is that they work with the airport engineer to design that in a way that's appropriate.
Just a quick question. Those are parcels, I think, numbered 14 and 15. We didn't list those as part of the site plan. Is there a reason why? Like, is it separable then, or like,
No,
you only list 2 parcels, but I think it's actually 4.
yeah,
So is
So
that
they have-
detention area gonna be used for future development on those parcels as well? Is that the idea?
there was a note. Are you the applicant? Okay, I'll let the applicant speak to that because there was a note in the Eagle plan that was submitted that is intended for either reserve area or more detention. So I'll leave that to the applicant, put a pin in that for just a second. Because, let me try to show you. I really want to be good at flipping back and forth between these two, finding my mouse. So this site up here, the applicant can speak to this. I don't think they're planning on developing anything there. I think this is intended for retention. We'll leave that to the applicant for future development. Items that the planning commission should consider.
I have a quick question, if I may.
Okay, yeah,
So I just want to make sure I understand this. They put the driveway in without getting a permit. The driveway was supposed to be 25 feet from the property line, and it's now 5 feet from the property line. And they can't move it.
so the driveway that they placed, if you look at the existing site plan, oh, I gotta switch this one. This is gonna work wonderfully. The applicant is stating that they can't put the driveway 25 feet away, but I'm still recommending that they do. This is where is the current?
Did I not get, I'm down there. Did I get it right? I mean,
The location, you can
Explain.
kind of see through here. This is the location of the existing drive.
okay,
And if you look here, it actually is further to the east than the proposed driveway.
is it just the entry point? Or what about that other driveway here on the, I'm gonna call it the left, see, I'm gonna guess and say it's the west side, is that,
The left side is west.
okay?
This,
Are you talking about just the entry point is 5 feet from the property line? Cause obviously.
the
rest of
entry
way-
point that's proposed by the applicant.
Okay,
So unfortunately, I can't find the current
okay,
site plan, but you can see the dark red line or dark black line right here is
Yeah.
the proposed driveway, but within that, you can see that thin black line is the existing driveway.
okay,
So the applicant has stated that to move the driveway further to the east would impact the wetlands, but there's also wetlands that are being impacted
okay,
on the west side. So I am not an engineer and will work with
okay.
our township engineer in Eagle, but it appears to me that either way, they'll be impacting the wetland.
Okay. Thank you.
So the items that I would like the planning commission or that our zoning ordinance requires that the planning commission handle. Oh my God, I'm gonna get good at this, I swear. Are the following. You should consider if the location is, the the location of the driveway is appropriate given the circumstances. Is the request to reduce requested reduction in all or some of the buffer yard C plant material appropriate for this site? So let me quick address that with the landscaping plan. 'Cause- Okay, in 10 minutes, we'll have a landscaping plan up. Obviously, there's requirements, here we go. The applicant has, if you look in your staff report, I broke down the requirements of the landscaping plan on each side. It appears that on the south and the east property lines, due to the wetlands, it seems very appropriate that we could reduce the requirements for the buffer yard there. However, I'm not convinced that the applicant has stated that the forest land on the west property line is not going to be disturbed, but we can't make a land use decision for this, or we shouldn't, in my opinion, make a land use decision for this parcel based on the current state of the property to the west, because we can't guarantee, preservation of that development. So I don't think that's an appropriate reason to not include the required buffer land for the west side. Additionally, you can see from this drawing that the applicant is proposing a large amount of impervious surface and then a quick grade change on this to make a berm here on the northern side of the property. I think that one of the easy solutions is to increase the impervious surface on this south parking lot and decrease the grade of the proposed berm. So what you can see the current grading are these kind of gradual lines that go from northwest traveling to the southeast to that wetland. And then the sharp gradient is where the applicant is proposing a berm. Yes,
Why is a berm necessary on that north side?
I don't actually know. That would be another good question for the applicant.
Okay.
So I just don't see the design of this property, the argument made for not meeting those requirements as necessary.
There's industrial uses to the north and west of this property. I don't
Correct.
think they need to have a landscape buffer between the next industrial use over.
But our
Perhaps our
ordinance.
ordinance says, does it?
Yeah.
And it states they have to, no matter what.
No, this is why you're considering it, because the zoning ordinance states that there's the buffer yard C, I don't know exactly the plant material, but it's not provided here, is required in between an industrial proposed development and a parcel that, any adjacent parcel that's industrial. Now, if it were residential, obviously it would be more strict of a landscaping buffer.
I would expect more of a berm in that application.
Yeah, so the planning commission does have the ability, and that's why I'm bringing it up today, because we can't administratively decrease that landscaping buffer, but the planning commission, considering the site elements, can decrease or lessen the requirements
Ryan?
of the buffer.
From memory, there's some sections missing from what we normally have in our packet. Like there is a engineering department review comments, and it says basically if full review has not been conducted, he'll have one next week. But that's, I believe, our engineer, correct?
Yes,
Isn't there usually also one from Kent County talking about like the whether it's a stub off of the water main or a loop and like head loss and stuff like that? Is there anything in here that am I missing it from the county? Is he connecting to municipal water? And I don't see
yes,
anything.
they have applied, but I have not coordinated. Oh my gosh, I'm in the.
Because I don't see anything in engineering drawings showing where the connections are and if it is
The engineer, they are in here.
Might have missed it.
I'll let the applicant speak to that one as well.
Is there any reason why we would?
Would we not table it based on that?
Yeah, exactly. It gives me great pause that our engineer hasn't time to review it yet and we're reviewing it.
So let's table it.
That would be my.
Make the motion.
Can we hear from the applicant first, maybe, or?
That way we have some suggestions to him, but.
Well, plus it would allow him to explain some things too.
Right, yeah.
Since he's here,
I think,
Would
I
the
think we should,
applicant like to
run
come
that
up
opportunity.
and
does anybody have
present
any
your
more
side of the story?
questions or anything? No.
no, they don't.
You guys got something to do tonight? What the hell?
What is your
Yes.
name?
Let it happen.
Doug
is great.
Stolzenberg, Excel Engineering.
Welcome.
Sounds like, thank you. Sounds like we've got a few things to talk about.
What's your take on this?
What's my take on it?
Yeah.
Well, I think you've asked some good questions, and I think I got some good answers for you. So I don't know what order you want to take them, but, let's talk about water main. As part of this project, we will be looping from a dead end water main from the building to the north. It's actually off the sheet of our plan, current plan, just off the sheet, but we'll be looping through the site and then installing water main from the new proposed driveway up and tie back into Craft at the intersection of Craft and 52nd. Okay,
Can I ask a
so
question on that? So you're gonna loop back on 52nd. Is there a plan to pave 52nd when you're done with that, or is it going
Yes.
back to gravel?
yeah, I'll get to that in a minute.
Awesome.
So that'll be a looped water main. We have submitted what they call preliminary utility plan. It's not construction drawings, but it's a preliminary utility plan we've submitted through the township, through Eric, and through the city of Grand Rapids. It's actually Grand Rapids water main.
Mhm.
So we have their, both the township and Grand Rapids approval of the routing and size of that water main. So we still have to do final construction plans, but the concept of where the water main is going to be installed and how it's going to be looped and where the fire hydrants are and all that kind of stuff has been approved by the township and city of Grand Rapids. So this will be done at the owner's expense. So he's going to be putting about 600 feet of water main up 52nd Street, tie back into Craft at his expense. And there's a little piece, probably less than 50 feet off his property to the north that he has to get an easement from the neighbor for, but he'll be installing all of that water main at his cost.
And then he has to get an easement, so he doesn't have the easement yet.
He doesn't have the easement. He's been talking to the property owner to the north. And I can't believe he wouldn't give the easement because number one, he's on a dead end water main. So now he's got a looped water main. And it will increase his available pressure by looping the water main.
Make it more uniform all the way around.
Right, right.
Okay.
So we don't have the easement, but I just can't fathom that he wouldn't grant the easement. It's in his best interest, so.
Any other questions for owner representative?
Yeah, so why was the driveway put in without a permit?
That's a good question. That was done before Excel got involved with the owner. I did call the owner today and what he told me is that the intent was that a farmer wanted to farm this property.
Right.
And I think he did for a year or two,
Okay.
and it turned out not to be the best ground for farming, but he needed access. And somebody put the driveway in. I don't know who or how or when or anything, but when we got involved, the driveway was already there.
Okay, and why can't it be moved?
Well, it can be moved.
Okay.
But I guess my question back to you folks is why can't it stay where it is? Your ordinance says 25 feet from a property line. And I suspect that is so that it doesn't encumber a driveway on the neighboring property, so you don't get overlapping driveways with a curb radius.
Sure.
There is no way that the property to the west is gonna have a driveway there. There's a steep slope. And there's no way he's gonna have, that neighbor's gonna have a driveway there. We have to, because the curb radius comes in front of his property, the road commission will require us to get a letter from the neighbor approving that.
Okay.
We have made contact with the owner, don't have the letter yet. We have not applied for the driveway permit yet, but I have had conversations with Kent County Road Commission. They're fine with the driveway, subject to us getting the letter from the neighbor. And now this answers your question. So from that driveway back to just short of Craft Avenue, there's a little piece of pavement and then it turns to gravel.
Mhm.
Our client is also going to be improving that road to an all-season road, so there's no weight limits on it in the winter, to a 30-foot valley gutter road at his expense. So that's about 600 feet of street that he has to build. The road commission has agreed to participate like 50% of the cost of the asphalt only, but the gravel, the sand, the grading, the storm sewer, everything else is on the client's nickel.
Is this the same, is the same person own it today that owned it when the driveway went in? Same owner?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Mhm.
Other questions for Doug?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, of course.
The berm, can you walk us through its purpose?
Yeah, okay, the berm. I think it's a little bit of misuse of a term.
Okay.
Berm to me means come up and you go back down. It's a little hill or a little bump. What we've got here is that area in the northwest corner is just a continuous cut slope. Okay, we're cutting that ground down in a way, and there will be just a continuous side slope down to the edge of the asphalt. So I wouldn't call it a berm.
It's a hill.
It's a
Ski
hill, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you for clarifying that.
Other questions for Doug? Yeah, Brian.
Maybe a naive one. So you mentioned the Kent County Road Commission would go in for half the asphalt. Was there any discussion of 52nd Street is a public street? Why they wouldn't bring it to county road standards of what, the 66-foot width?
Well, it is a county road. It's just an unimproved county road. So
Correct.
yes, we will be building it to Kent County standards. Thickness of asphalt, thickness of gravel, thickness of sand, everything will be according to the Kent County Road Commission standards.
Okay. Good.
And then once it's done, the road commission takes care of it like they do now, except obviously it'll be paved.
Other questions? Reese?
The parcel to the northwest or northeast, it's kind of up and in the corner, is that? Is there, I noticed this on there, it said there's a 26-foot proposed easement to that site. Are they anticipating future development of that site as well? That's because as it's drawn right now, that site has frontage on 52nd Street. So
Right.
I guess that's my question is why the easement if it already has frontage at the road?
Answer to your first question, yes, there is plans, there is talk, there's nothing's been drawn up or designed or anything like that, but there has been some talk about maybe a 25,000 square foot building, much smaller building on that property. And yes, it does have frontage on 52nd Street, but it's a creek, it's a wetlands, it's a very rugged topography. And to think we would get an Eagle permit to run a driveway through there, not gonna happen. So access will be through this driveway. That's why there's a easement shown on the plan.
All right. And you feel that's a wide enough easement to accommodate the traffic needed?
I mean, it covers the width of the road. I guess in my opinion, it's wide enough, but
Ryan?
So where your detention pond though is, would it? So not only does the detention pond go to the property to the northeast, as Member Reese was saying, but it's also the property next to it. It's lots 14 and 15, 014 and 015, correct? So it actually, your whole project spans 4 unique parcel numbers.
yes, he owns 4 parcels. We're
Okay.
developing 2 of them.
Okay.
And then there's 2 remaining. The detention pond from our original submittal, you probably didn't see the original plan, but the original plan that we sent to Andrea was a smaller pond. Then the discussion started about this 25,000 square foot building I referred to. So we said, hey, whoa, hold it, we gotta make the pond size and design that will include that land if and when it is developed. So the pond got bigger yet.
Okay.
But it's designed to take the drainage from the 25,000 square foot building site.
Okay, so that's the parcel to the immediately to the east, that might have 25,000 square foot, and that pond will support that. Now you have one more parcel more to the east. Will that be developed, and does the pond have capacity for that as well?
It's for both of those parcels. Yeah.
Member Reese?
So are you envisioning that hypothetically, the next phase for this potentially 25,000 square foot building would combine those 2 east parcels into one?
Yes, just like we're gonna do on this one.
Understood. Thank you.
So, and as I understand it, it's warehouse, not manufacturing, industrial, or is it just, or is you guys,
Right.
is it just
It-
being billed as warehouse?
It's a spec building,
Okay.
built on speculation.
Okay.
Um,
So you're gonna, so they can put any there, so it may be like industrial, it's just a warehouse building.
we believe with the proximity to the airport and everything we see happening around there, we think there's a high probability that it'll be warehouse.
Okay.
We took a big fat guess at 10% office. I have no idea. We took a big guess that there'll be 4 suites. Maybe somebody will come along, buy the whole building. I don't know. But we've got it set up that it could be divided into 4 with the loading docks and the overhead doors in the back. So it's set up that it could handle 4 tenants.
And Andrea, I'm sure it was in the packet. What's that zone for? I mean,
A bunch of stuff.
okay,
A warehouse. It is zoned for manufacturing, but
Okay.
then, this parking on the north they're proposing that this would be deferred. We would do the same thing.
Okay.
That we were talking about with the other applicant, where we analyze the parking requirements as a use comes in.
okay.
Ryan?
So I didn't bring a pen, so I apologize, I should be taking better notes, I'm taking mental notes. So items you have in flight is you need a letter from the neighbor allowing you to have that curb cut in their property. You need a letter from another neighbor granting an easement for the water main.
Water main.
You need a mother may I from Eagle. And then you need engineering drawings that reflect the approval of your connections through Cascade and Grand Rapids for your sewer and water. And you also need engineering drawings for your modifications to 52nd Street. Does that sound complete?
Yeah, we got a few things to do yet.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Doug?
No. For me,
Okay,
right now.
thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, let me, if I may, let me just try to put your mind at ease with this whole Eagle thing, okay? We've been working with, Lakeshore Environmental. They're a consultant firm that we use to, be our go-between between Eagle and our part of the site work. And, Matt Allen is who we're working for and are working with. And, he had a meeting with the Eagle representative out on site last week Thursday. And, that's when the question of, hey, how'd this driveway get in here? And they talked about, we're probably gonna have to mitigate for what wetlands were destroyed as part of putting that driveway in. But I talked to Matt today and he said that he thought they had a very productive, very upfront discussion between Elliot Christensen is the guy that he met with from Eagle. And he said, I feel real good about being able to work this out with Eagle, feel very good about getting the permit. And Eagle moves slow is an understatement, but it takes them forever to do something. So it'll be a while before we have the actual permit. But Matt was very confident that we could work this out with Eagle. So
Making progress.
we're making good progress.
Good. Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Doug.
I guess one last one. In your proposed use, I get that it's speculative, but I think typically even on speculative stuff that comes before us, we see an interior layout, you take a best guess, right? You're taking a guess at the exterior. Do you also plan, talking about things in flight, do you plan on submitting to us an interior layout? It's gonna have to some sort of layout. It might not be the final. Would that be on your next drawings as well? Like number of
Probably
bathrooms?
not until
something
they
we
have a
usually do.
You
specific
don't normally see
client.
bathrooms, or-
So I think the layout of the interior of the building would show up when they come in for a building permit.
With architectural drawings.
Yeah.
That's a building department item.
Right.
And then it will be checked, it'll come to the planning department. We'll make sure that it has all the required parking, that it's not anything that requires a special use or it has to come
There's
back
no
to the planning
surprises.
commission.
One other thing, in that area that was a berm before, now it's a hill.
Ski Hill.
Ski hill, yeah.
Diamond, blue diamond, or black diamond.
I think Andrea made a comment about, well, why can't we shorten up that asphalt behind the building and modify the hill? Well, there's loading docks in the back of the building, where I keep them towards the back, and we need 140 feet to be able to back in a semi and get a semi out of there. And that's the dimension that we have used, and that's right to the edge of that blacktop. So to reduce that means we can't get semis into the loading docks.
Yeah, I understand that. I think you have a good plan here. I just want to see that the lots are properly combined and easements in place. But I don't see any red flags from my perspective.
Maybe we need to talk a little bit more about the buffer yard. That was brought up, and we're I did show the limits of the 20-foot buffer yard around the perimeter of the site, just to show that we haven't put any pavement or permanent structure in that 20-foot buffer yard. But on the landscape plan, we don't meet your type C buffer yard, which would be 6 trees. Yeah, 6 trees per 100 feet and plus 6 shrubs per 100 feet. And I guess I've always felt or looked at the buffer yard being something to make the proposed development look pleasant to the neighbors. Well, and there's some other fringe benefits of trees and buffer and so on, but primarily it's to soften the look. And if you read through your ordinance, it talks about aesthetic value of the buffer yard. And so I look at the, excuse my language, but the butt end of the building in the back where the loading docks are, I mean, that's not a pretty area, okay? So to beautify that, when you got a big 10 to 15-foot hill, to beautify that with a buffer yard didn't ring and true with me. So that's why I'm asking if there could be some release on that.
Andrea?
Chairman, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with the applicant because the point of the trees is not just for aesthetics. The point of these trees is to slow water down, and we've worked really, really hard on our stormwater management. So to have a site like this come in, drastically change the grading of the property, add impervious surface, and then require more stormwater detention, the better move is to have more gradual slopes and add trees so that when we do get heavy rains, the tree actually, the jobs of that vegetation is actually to slow that water down and allow it to percolate in place. So there's a very clear purpose
I
for
concur.
those trees.
Thank you.
Let me respond to that if I may. We had geotechnical work done. We had 8 soil borings on the site. About half of them went down 10 feet, the other half went down 20 feet. It is solid clay. I mean, it is solid clay. So to think you're going to get water percolating into the site, into the soil, I think you're dreaming.
Member Reese?
I think that's why she's talking about trees to slow the flow down, but my question then would be to staff. Does the landscape plan they provide with the trees that they have on this plan, are you satisfied with that plan?
It does not meet the requirements. I didn't do the calculation because it just didn't make sense. There was nothing on the west side of the property, and the north side has 5 trees, and obviously we know that is longer than 100 feet. So it doesn't meet the requirements. I'd be satisfied with the requirements met on
agree.
the west and north side.
I'd also be satisfied with the driveway being moved too, but, and I'm sorry that the owner has to incur that, but they should have got a permit first. So, I mean, that bothers me, that driveway was put in without a permit and now it's, oh, well, we can move it, but we don't want to. 'cause it's gonna
He
cost.
said it may have been put in with a permit. They're checking with the county. Because there's different levels of permit. If they asked the county for a driveway permit to put a driveway in for
If they get a
farming,
permit to do that,
then they
then
may
I'll
have done it.
back up.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
but
you
if they
can't say
didn't-
they didn't because they may
if they
have.
didn't-
We don't know.
Brian?
No, I don't know. They haven't responded.
So, this is staff, so I guess I'm kind of surprised that I'm seeing on whatever page this is, page 74, staff recommends approval based on a lot of what you're saying and based on this long list of 11 items, which I don't think is even inclusive. And then when I do look at it and to see this, did you capture everything? It says the 2 parcels by the application are combined. Wouldn't you have to combine all 4 parcels?
No,
retention
there's
pond
a
on that?
building being built in the middle of the 2 parcels that the applicant has applied for. So I didn't look at the site work as part of the building that's actually being applied for. But we
But-
can't
But
approve
now that we have to have
the
he's
other.
creating an impervious structure and associated land that requires a detention pond. They're inseparable. It has to run with the land. Wouldn't we have to combine all 4 parcels or no?
No, so it would be fine for an adjacent parcel to be used for detention. And if we allowed 1 building here and then combined all 4 parcels, now we've got a situation where they would have 2 buildings on 1 parcel.
So do we
So-
not have an easement for that or? how
Yeah,
do we-
they,
so it'd be
I think
another-
we need an
it'd be
easement for the
easement between-
detention pond.
Okay, so that's another easement he needs?
yes.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
there are a couple easements, you're right, that we should, I would hope that we still could get that that driveway off of the neighbor's property, so an easement isn't.
Sure.
I don't know if it's being proposed just to save money, but I would love to see that small portion of the driveway come off of the neighbor's property. And I don't know if I was being clear. I'm trying to zoom into this. But you can see the dotted line is where they have already done work. The proposed area comes another, 7 to 10 feet, maybe more. I think it's actually like 10 to 12 feet to the west, and then they are, the part of the approach tapers into the neighbor's property.
Chris?
Where is the owner? Typically, the owner attends these because there's a lot of questions that he could answer.
The owner is at his son's championship baseball game tonight.
So perhaps if we tabled this, he could attend the next meeting?
In 2 weeks.
I don't think you're gonna gain anything by that. I mean,
I didn't ask that. I've asked if he would be available if we tabled it.
I can't, I don't know.
Thank you.
Ryan?
I'd like to make a motion on case number 24-3834 be tabled, and that the applicant come back next time with that long list of items that I addressed were in flight, including a new easement for the detention pond, as well as the laundry list of recommendations of staff, that we have an opportunity to look at all of those in their entirety at the next time and mutually agreeable for the applicant and the township.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I would strongly implore you to have DJ here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So give me some feedback on the driveway location. I've heard a couple of you don't like where the driveway is, but I think it's more because the driveway went in without proper permits. I think I can tell you for sure that the driveway, that the road commission did not issue a driveway permit. So let's start there, that there is no road commission permit and there is no Eagle permit for that driveway.
I thought you said earlier that you thought I thought somebody said there could have been for it to be a farm access in the past. must
I
have
didn't
misheard
say that.
Okay, so having been to the site and visited it, I understand the resistance to move the driveway east because you're right, there's a huge hill there. The neighbor, it's not inflicting any harm on the neighbor today.
Right.
I see that. So I would be willing to bend on that, although it sounds like the rest of the people in the room
I would not.
are not.
Me neither. I would like to see the driveway moved and I'd like to see the landscaping. Like I could vote for this, let me be clear, but I would need to, for me to vote on it, I would need to see the driveway moved and the landscaping updated to what staff is asking for.
And the rest of the items on that list, yeah.
So what if I have a
There's-
letter from the neighbor that says he's okay with the driveway?
I'd still like to see it moved.
Okay.
That's just me. You're asking for feedback and,
Yeah, no.
we don't typically do this, let me be clear, so.
Well,
Give it to you
yeah,
so
but
that
you're
you-
asking me to come back and address these issues. I gotta know
No, that's why
how
we're
to
giving it.
address them.
That's why we're giving it to you.
Member Reese?
I would tell you, I don't think we have ever approved a building that didn't have any landscaping between the building and the parking lot. And all they show here is hydro-seeded lawn. I don't even show a shrub next to the front door. I
Well,
don't
there-
think we've ever approved anything like that.
There's 13 driveways, 13 trees in front of the building between the
Right,
parking
I'm
and the
saying
drive.
between the building and the parking lot, there's
There's nothing.
other than grass. It just, it's-
I can speak to that. Our ordinance has this weird thing that we have these requirements for parking, landscaping, but industrial properties are actually exempt from it. So I think that,
that's not where you were speaking before, you needed bushes and stuff?
no, that's for the buffer yard.
Okay,
Those
just
are
in the
two different
buffer.
things. Yep, there's buffer yard requirements. And yes, I would love to require trees there, but our ordinance does not, and the applicant's team actually called ahead of time, clarified that before they provided the site plan, and
I think we should update our ordinance.
I agree.
Oh.
Ryan,
Agree.
Ryan,
Again, working
Let's
with
do
you, I
it.
said, you need to address what to come back. It would also be nice to see, and I know that sometimes it's not the easiest organization to work with, but I recall hearing and reading, the airport's not overly thrilled with its detention basin. I don't know if you could address that with them and get
Yeah.
a letter from them saying you've modified it and it's okay and it's not gonna flood their runway. That would probably help as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I add something onto that?
Absolutely.
Did they say that they were worried about the runway being flooded, or did they say that they were worried about the water attracting birds?
I heard
I didn't see
It was the
flooded
trees
birds.
that were gonna attract birds, but then the trees that we chose do not attract birds. Birds are attracted by water, not trees.
Timmy,
How did
Before we move on, Andrea, I thought someone said flooding of the runway.
I didn't see that.
Yes, no, that
I
is
heard-
in the staff report. The airport is not concerned about trees. They've actually provided us a list of slow growing trees and we're trying to work together to ensure that we plant the right trees. They're concerned about standing water that will
Right.
attract birds, but they're also concerned about this detention pond specifically because they're afraid that it's gonna pour water onto their property.
That
'Cause
make it
this-
go for it right there.
This is, this is airport land and the detention.
Okay, well, the natural,
Things you don't say out loud.
Timmy,
I guess I'm just curious why such a large building on such a complicated site is, I mean, 20,000 square feet less looks like it would fit on here a lot better with setbacks and greenery and
Bushes.
water and
well,
bushes.
it's all about numbers, sir. And don't forget, he's improving 600 feet of public road that you normally wouldn't have to pay for. He's looping water main, another 600, 700 feet of offsite water main. There's a lot of unusual expenses. We haven't even talked about sanitary sewer. There is no sanitary sewer down here. He's got to have a pump to pump this building up to Craft Avenue.
So,
Okay.
but see, here's and thank you for doing that and thank him for doing that, but that doesn't benefit the citizens of Cascade. That benefits him. And it benefits.
No, I understand
it
that,
benefits who
but
he's gonna-
he's asking me why the building has to be the size that it is.
But don't, to me, that doesn't resonate with me as, look at all he's doing for the community by doing this road, and that's because he's not. And he's doing it for himself, which is okay, and he's doing it for the benefit of the people that will be renting or purchasing the building. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, we're giving you feedback and you're pushing back, and I'm gonna tell you, that's probably not the right approach with this board. So
Okay.
just listen to the feedback and then come back again. That's what I would suggest, but
I wasn't pushing back. I was answering his question, okay? So I'll take what I've heard tonight. We'll be back and try
thank
to
you, thank you.
answer your questions.
thank you, Doug. Okay,
All right, the next item on our agenda. What'd you say?
What's going on over there?
You're giggling.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Oh, now we're distracting you, huh?
That's fair play.
The next item on our agenda is amendment to chapter 14. I think we've talked exhaustively about this. I think that we would just be asking to make a recommendation to amend chapter 14 to correct previous language. Am I on the wrong agenda item or something?
no, that's correct.
Okay.
Scrolling down there.
It is a public hearing though. Ryan,
Make a motion to go to public hearing, or
Can I ask you a question first?
Yeah.
just a question.
You mentioned we talked about it exhaustively. We actually haven't that much. We did have a closed session on it, and I thought one of the key parts was the removal of a section in 1409 that we didn't want to explicitly call out a parcel. Did we decide not to incorporate that in this amendment?
No, Leslie worked primarily on this and the discussion was we could have removed it, but it's not necessarily, not necessary because it's ineffective. You know,
Okay, so
For
we did
adding
change, we did adjust heading a bit.
Yep.
And it was purposeful. It wasn't a mistake.
it,
intentional.
it's intentional that it wasn't removed. Yes.
Perfect.
Chris,
I would make a motion that we go to public hearing.
Support.
moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, anybody online?
Make a motion that we exit public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Can I make a motion to approve? Do we approve or recommend? What's the action?
Recommend approval.
Yeah. I'd make a motion that we recommend approval of the chapter 4 text amendment and forward it on to the township board for approval.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, moving on. We'd like to now go back to the master plan, public comment, review and recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Danielle here with us. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, I'm just using my laptop for reference. I don't need to show anything.
So angrily, I don't know.
It doesn't work.
I remember, I sat there
Not with
once. I'm
us.
familiar with that. It goes to sleep and it's
I gotta
tough to
sign
wake
in.
up.
Okay. So if you guys recall, there's actually a couple items in your packets this evening that are related to the master plan. The first of which is all of the comments received from all entities during the 63-day comment period were compiled into one document entitled Master Plan Comments. Further, there is a memorandum that kind of corresponds with this latest draft that kind of just outlines some key highlights of the master plan, key features of the master plan, the general goals and objectives and next steps. And then we have, sure.
You say it was compiled, you mean it's a bunch of different emails, or is there one, did you compile all those into?
In one single PDF. There's, let's see, it's 19 pages in total, and all comments received thus far during the 63-day comment period were put in this PDF document, which that's in their packets. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, it's
We don't
page
have, like-
15
I don't think I received it.
Yeah.
through,
I got it.
it's
It's here.
15 through 20.
Look for the highlighted section with the airport. There you go.
9, 20, 30.
Yeah.
31. 15 through 33-ish of,
Okay, so there's separate emails and the letter from the, it's not really anything compiled, it's just collated.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
Well, I didn't know if you like,
Definition of compiled.
well, I didn't,
yes, the answer.
You sound like me when I'm talking to my wife. Sure. Yep. Okay. That's the way you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound flippant on it.
But that's summarized. That's not.
okay, so sure, I'm just asking.
Okay, so all of the comments collated into one PDF that includes both a formal letter from the airport as well as some emails that came through over that 63 days. So if you guys recall, the township board officially opened the 63-day comment period, and then it thus closed after the expiration of the 63 days on May 16th. Since then, put together some key highlights, which I think even our caller did a great job of kind of summarizing the plan earlier today, with regard to having a printable document format, an action plan that is oriented in the beginning of the document to have more teeth to that implementation piece of this plan, and more of the existing land uses and analysis and demographics all towards the end of the document. A robust zoning plan, which kind of dovetails into the comment that we received earlier with regard to the speeding and all of that. And to Grace's point, the master plan doesn't necessarily get into the nitty gritty of road corridors and speed limits and all of those types of things, unless if you guys were a city and had a little bit more control over that. I will note though that one of the goals of the master plan is entitled provide and support an efficient, safe and environmentally friendly, sensitive road, pedestrian and bike network. So I think that that's kind of, while not, pointed towards that comment, that it kind of explains that overarching need to maintain and build relationships with the road commission for mutual benefit. Additionally, we included a development review checklist for the planning commission to utilize at their leisure to ensure that every site plan that comes across your desk, every rezoning, every text amendment can then be weighed against the goals of the master plan with that site plan development review checklist to ensure that all of your decision makings are clear, concise, and in the event that, 10, 15 years from now, you guys, perhaps a different board, can still utilize that to ensure that the township's goals are being met.
Right.
And you did on a trial run tonight, right? Wasn't that one of our documents, Andrea?
What? I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
I think she was referring to the site plan review checklist that's, well, I shouldn't say checklist, the site plan review criteria that's noted in your zoning ordinance, if I'm not mistaken. There's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 criteria in there that are like, does this, I don't know.
There's just a new.
Have
template
a
that I've never seen
landscaping
before. It kinda
plan,
looked
yeah.
A little bit like what you're saying.
Yes, and the intention here is to have a little bit more of that broader view to ensure that while you may be getting into the nitty gritty of a warehouse business with 10 new trees, that let's make sure that we take a step back and ensure that the township's goals are overall being met. Updated demographics with most current American Community Survey and US Census information. An updated future land use plan that describes the exact boundaries of the potential Cascade Village area, redevelopment opportunities along 28th Street, Centennial Park, the Star Glenwood area, and so forth. As you guys likely recall, we've discussed these at length. The urban services boundary, which is noted on the future land use plan, as well as targeted farmland preservation land uses and rural preservation land uses. And then, of course, the plan goes into further about goals and objectives, which again, enhancing and improving that and maintaining your legacy neighborhoods, your,
If I could interrupt you, I think all of us have read this.
okay.
I just want to be respectful of your time.
No, that's fair. I was mostly doing it for the better of the record,
Okay, then
so the
if you do it,
community
yeah.
has that.
Yeah.
But that I was pretty much done anyway.
Oh.
So we'll move on. So referencing essentially what we're asking of you tonight is to approve the master plan, the draft master plan before you, the May version, and forward that approval recommendation to the township board for the official approval, which would occur likely later this month. I should note that the PDF that has the comments received in it does have that red and green highlight. The red includes information or comments from the airport that may or may not need to be incorporated in this new draft, depending on how our commissioners feel about those comments. The green comments are comments that were very easily rectified and have already been implemented in this new version. For example, the term international airport semantics. So we put that together, ensured that everything said international airport. Also, we included an appendix that shows the airport approach plan and the airport layout plan, which then satisfies the comments on page 2 of that memorandum. However, the topic for discussion tonight that we would like to confirm with the commission on before we kind of move forward into that potentially recommendation of approval, if you will refer to the future land use map, which is on page page 57 of the PDF. That area that has been identified as the golf course or open space, that area that is north east of the airport that was recently rezoned and so forth, that Thornapple Crescent is kind of what we've been calling it in the plan. The airport did note that they felt as though that majority of those properties are within the airport authority's control and the county's control, and therefore they did not feel or they did not support those areas being identified as golf course or open space. To which I would say, this is the township's master plan. This is the direction the township would like to go in. In the event that the airport, would like to improve any of those sites, if they would like to pursue any type of rezoning of those sites and so forth, I think, either the future land use map could be amended at that point, or you could simply say, this is the township's vision and that's that,
Yeah.
So
I like that one.
Yeah, I go for
Take
the
that.
latter half, the airport compound.
I choose that.
Sorry to interrupt you. Were those like parcels that they still
Light.
own or parcels that they sold? And
So-
they still want to control?
It's a
somehow?
little bit dicey because the Kent, if you look at it on the county GIS, it's designated as ownership by the Kent County Aeronautics Commission, which is them alleged, from what
That's
they
their former
motion.
name.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. And then they also said that there's some sort of agreement with the golf course there, the.
It's a
corner-
lease. It's a long-term land lease.
Okay,
They
okay.
don't like us to call it a golf course, but in fact, a golf course does live on it.
And probably will for a very long time.
And I don't know about you all,
Hopefully.
but I would prefer nothing but a golf course to be on that parcel.
It's a great use.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, obviously they can't complain it's incompatible because they're the ones who signed the lease with
They,
the golf course.
they signed a 99-year lease on
Go-kart
it.
racing
Yeah.
facility, that would be fun.
Mhm.
Would do.
Mhm.
That's better than the trailer park that was talked about there. once.
Brian?
So I don't know how to tactfully do what I'm about to do, but they're gonna rip me no matter what. Thematically, I like the master plan, the
Mhm.
themes, the overarching,
Is this
but
about the airport?
when I read it, there are just a ton of errors. So I don't know if we can make those changes or if I can go offline with somebody, but I'll just point out a few, like, so on page, I'm sorry, I turned 50 and turned blind. On page 120, it states there is one ramp to enter exit I-96 in Cascade Township. But there's a picture, I think, that shows 3 and they're even numbered, 43, 44, and 46. Then there's a sentence that begins the I-96 and just.
I don't think those are ramps, are they? Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah, you can
interrupt.
exit on 28th Street,
She's
you can
on,
exit on
like, what she's
36th
on right
Street,
here.
and you can exit onto,
What page of the PDF are you on?
I'm on page 120, Regional Transportation.
One more down.
Of the master plan or the packet?
Master plan.
One second.
He might be on an older version.
I think that, where are you sourcing that?
It's what you sent us?
You should have a tab open on your screen with most up to date.
Oh.
Which is the one that I sent, that we sent on Friday?
Whatever you sent me is what I downloaded. I have a new phone, so I wouldn't have an old copy.
Okay.
You guys should all, yes, they.
It will take like 10 minutes. a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain there's only one way to get on 96 in Cascade. There's not 3 on and off ramps.
36th Street,
36th Street
28th
is
Street.
one, 28th Street's one,
Mm.
and then
Well, I'm,
Cascade.
Cascade Roads.
I stand
Cascade
corrected.
is
Actually,
all of-
Cascade Township though.
No.
Well, that's a good try. Good point. It is-
Cascade
it is on the
Road
map
is actually in.
in Ada.
I think.
Grand
Grand Rapids Township.
But.
no,
36
no,
Ada.
because the sign's over there, so we're you can get on 96 going towards downtown on this side of the sign, so that's.
So I would apologize if I've only downloaded what I was given,
I think we're the
but
third
maybe
one
it's an old copy. I don't know.
Where's the third one, Ryan?
Trying to get to 120.
I'm still just confused.
Can I
I was
ask,
just looking at the map.
can I ask Ryan a question?
Yes, I'm looking at the one that's on my computer. Page 120,
Oh,
PDF, page 124.
now I'm with, just give me.
The PDF and the document are both the same number.
Well, but there's not.
No,
you
they're
have
slightly.
prefix, you have unnumbered pages at the beginning. So it's PDF 124, printed on the document is 120.
Thank you.
I'm seeing both. But that's okay. Okay. So when,
So I don't want to belabor this, but there's a lot of this in there and it's not. It's not the end of the world,
Sure.
but. I pushed back respectfully on township supervisors saying this is like. Thematically great, but. Something if I still had a 12-year-old at home, I would say this is something why you need a proofreader.
Hmm.
And she said that I should push back on McKenna. And ask that you guys proofread this. So I don't know, I've done a lot of proofreading. I can give you a long laundry list. And I can literally spend probably the next 4 hours going through errata.
Please don't.
But I'm guessing that we don't want to. So my question is, how do we clean this up?
So I think the way to go about this of one of two ways, depending on how the rest of the commission feels. If you guys feel as a whole, as a group, that you would like this to take a second look for wordsmithing and grammar changes and things like that, we can certainly table this until the next meeting. The second option is to potentially approve with conditions, conditioned upon the fact that these grammar errors are then rectified before this goes to the township board for official approval.
I would make I believe it goes beyond grammar errors. I can.
He's saying there's factual errors.
Are there
There's
material
factual
things
errors.
that would materially change what our
I
intent
think
was?
so. A couple I'm not certain of, and I asked for some input from some peers on this. There is a table in here, that actually reached out to.
Page number.
I gotta give me a second. I was on page 120. There is a density, I can probably keyword search.
Are you speaking of the density table?
Yes,
I can find it.
It's 34.
there's a density table,
74, you say?
I think it's like 34 or 35.
page 35 of the numbered,
38.
printed 35 PDF, I don't know.
Where are those not the same?
38 of the PDF.
Because like most books has a cover page, which isn't numbered.
I'm sorry,
35.
it's page 35 of the PDF?
It's printed page 35, like what's
This
printed
is-
on the page.
Ryan, is this it?
Yeah, on our, does somebody know what page it is? on?
38, 38.
38, thank you.
And if you guys switch over, I have this document up too, and you can just.
I know,
look at that.
I'm looking at it. I'm letting you drive.
Thanks.
I have switched.
So I found this very confusing to the point where I asked assistance from our planning director. And I'm still not convinced I understand it. In fact, I don't understand it, I think, in and of itself, but
Typology.
there's this reading, if you were to read this as a resident, there's an inference that it's for subdivisions. And it's the only place that actually has the word subdivision is in the third column. But I think the catch is by right. I don't believe this table is by right, is it? Subdivisions and platting isn't by right, it's by like an approval process. So I think by saying this is by right, we're usurping Kent County and the state. Don't
No.
They have approvals?
No, so by right means that the standards, the dimensional standards of this site plan meet the dimensional standards of the zoning ordinance. That's by right. Or the use is by right. It doesn't require a special permit.
Okay, but we're gonna give people bonuses by right? Isn't this kind of a bonus table?
So this was something, before we get into this was something that Andrea and I had discussed that. So the intention behind these tables was to offer a very clear direction of the zoning changes that the township wanted to make. So with regard to like maximum heights and potentially allowing for density bonuses and things like that, with those priorities outlined, that it could then easily slide into, okay, well, here's our foundation for our zoning requirement, or for how we would like to take our zoning, and our master plan is very clear and provides a lot of detail in that way. However, if these tables are are creating more confusion or perhaps pigeonholing you in a way that you don't feel comfortable with, then we can just take out those 2 pages and do a brief write-up of the township's general vision for, development of these particular categories.
You summarize that well, yes. I think, because when I read this, there's 2 rows that seem to conflict, and the level of granularity in this. If you look at the whole document, it's a 60,000 foot view, and then it seems we got to this table and we dove into like 2 centimeter resolution. And I think in doing so, we've got confliction within our own table. If you go to the third column, 1, 2, 3, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row 5 and 6 of the third column say if at least 50% of the developable acreage is left as public or private open space, you get 1 unit per 1.15 acres. All right, sounds pretty good. It's great. They develop half their land, we're giving them a unit per 1.15 acres versus 4.6. That's a win, right? But then we go to the next row and we contradict that. We say that you actually get 1 unit you get 1 per 1 acre if it's dedicated as open space. But the previous one said public or private, and this one says public. So which public one is it?
This is direct text from your subdivision ordinance. I should note that.
Mhm.
However, again, if it's creating more harm than help, I think that that's something that we can certainly just slide out of this document if it is too granular to where you're not feeling comfortable by it. So I think having said that, like, I mean, I guess from the other commissioners, how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel that, well, first, do you feel like you would like to take those two tables out of the document in general?
I like the table out. I'm curious what trustee Timmy says, because, is the board gonna accept this as is, or do you want, like, what is your gut on this? Like, send Ryan to go work with Danielle for a couple weeks, or push it through it without the table?
How many of these things do you have, Ryan?
Right.
There's 80 pages, and I would say 3 a page, 240.
If I may, you guys have had this document for 6+ months, and I'm feeling a little bit like I'm wishing that we would have had these conversations in December when you guys first received the full draft. Not to say that your comments are invalid in any way, shape, or form, but what I am feeling is that I would like to have some sort of clear movement, clear step of this is what we want and this is how we want to get it. So that way we don't fall into this back and forth.
Well, the last time we had the document though, were the letters missing? Or, I mean, it almost looks to me like there was some kind of a edit when the, document was converted, because like, for instance, I noticed in a lot of this, anywhere there's a double T or a double F, those letters just don't appear. Like the word matters. It just says MA and then there's a space.
Andrea, can you
ERS.
go to
So I'm-
36? It's
This is a great
PDF
example.
32, but I want to make sure it's not your PDF reader.
Listen, I didn't notice that, but
Look, switch to Andrea's screen. It's 32 in the PDF, but it's
36.
36.
on Our packet.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. They're 32.
And I guess that's my question is because there's a,
Open hers real quick. Switch your screen and see if you're seeing the same thing. It could be your
There's
PDF
matters
reader.
is there, zoning matters.
okay, committee is missing the
It
T.
wasn't yours. Let's make sure it's doing it here.
Yeah, and see here, I see this reads a whole lot better than
It's
the
your
other
PDF
packet.
reader.
yeah, I never
That-
saw that.
Yeah, I had that
Okay.
happen this week on a different document. That happened.
Okay.
So
So that might eliminate a lot of the confusion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're having the same problem, you're not. Okay, well, I don't know where your 100 errors.
So
I just solved my 100 errors.
I did send a long list of this to you. You asked for it.
I think you should
And
work
I
with
did
Andrea.
Send the supervisor list as well.
I brought that with me, because I do recall we went over this as of February 13th, 2024. I remember I came to that meeting and we had talked about everybody's comments that they had to date. And then there was a table that I had put together to say the ones in red are the ones that we need to talk about. The ones that are crossed out are
That's
the
fine.
ones that
I
are.
apologize if it was February 13th. I
Mhm.
would not have been here.
Okay, then that makes sense then that your thing, yeah.
So I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And the comments that you sent out prior to that point, those were already implemented. With exception of that tree graphic, because at the time I was instructed to leave it as is, which again, that's something that we can change, but I just want to note that that's why
And
you
that's
said
fine.
that multiple times.
Yep.
So then it almost sounds like maybe if you, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but maybe the best course of action at this point is to go back and edit with, with Ryan's comments and then take it to the township board potentially. Do you guys have 2 meetings a month? Is that correct?
Yes.
Maybe the second
So
meeting?
what do you, can I jump in here real
Sure,
quick?
sure.
I'm just throwing this out there, right?
I don't.
So what do you think about just emailing your list to Andrea, having her and Danielle kind of review it together? Because they're gonna be able to blow through it real quick and go, no, that one's okay, that one's okay, that one's okay, just because of their background, right? And then come back to you and say, all right, of these 200, these 75 were okay because of language. We changed these 30 and the other 20 we took out, or whatever it is. And then it gives you a chance to review it, and then we can come back here in 2 weeks. Do you think you can do that and then review it with him with it so that 2 weeks later when we come back, we can put this, I mean, are you okay with that?
Well, can I?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Somewhat hunt,
Yeah.
And you're gonna be around, right?
I'm around for the foreseeable
Yeah.
future.
Just wanna be sure.
May I see if, Supervisor Lesperance is still on the line?
I don't think she is.
Okay. I approached her and she said she had a long list of edits as well.
Okay,
So, but she said just had time to get to it. Cause I had nudged her months ago, as Andrea says. So I think her and I both have issues. So maybe her and I need to sync and then together we can send off something to Andrea.
I hate the idea of having a dependency outside of this room.
Yeah.
If Supervisor Lesperance has comments, then I think
Do her
we,
separate.
yeah, I think
Yes.
trustee Timmy can encourage her to submit those
Yeah.
comments
Yes.
separately, but I'd like this thing here on the 17th so we can put it to bed before July 1st.
yeah. And I want you to have input, I mean, they're gonna be able to blow through it fast.
Yeah, I'll just.
And then they can
clean
just
up.
review it with you.
I mean, our goal was to have this done by January and we're in June. And I'm
No, I-
not taking away from what you found. I'm just,
So,
Scott, wait a minute, Scott.
I just had two comments. And am I allowed to make those? or do you
No.
want me to
No.
submit them in writing?
Cut him off.
They're short, they're sweet, okay? Two things. On page, in the PDF on our screen, it's page 20, I believe, in that area, talks about expanding pathway system in the township. And as the chair of the Pathways Committee, I don't know if it's important to include this or not, but we would like to have something, I think, that indicates a desire to expand pathways to the south of the township.
Okay.
You mentioned the Grand River Greenway project.
Mhm.
We also desire to have a connection to either Caledonia or Kentwood to try and eventually, the theory being here that we may be able to achieve the connection of having the Paul B. Henry Trail, which essentially is gonna be going all the way, west of us, but have that connect to the Greenway project as well to get connected to the North County Trail. So we're the spot in the middle to make those connections. And I think if we have that in our plan, it may help us if we need to get a grant to connect those dots in the future.
Okay.
Brian?
may I ask the commission, I didn't have time to run down this loose thread, but there was a letter in there talking about the pathway from Buttrick out to Snow. I never had the time. Is that already in the plan? Is that? on there?
Not from Buttrick out to, on 36th Street. There's talk that we would, as a committee, we have talked that we would like to see expansion in that direction.
Okay.
But we'd like to see expansion in a lot of directions. And there's a lot of people that live in this township south of, say, 48th Street, south of 36th Street, really, that feel like they're in the forgotten half of the township because there's no parks, no pathways, nothing in that side of the township. And so I think the theme of the pathway system originally was to connect neighborhoods.
Okay.
We have a lot of new neighborhoods in the south side of the township that have no connection whatsoever. I know we have a lot of neighborhoods that are just a mile from the path, but those neighborhoods are a highway, a river, and several miles from a path. So it's easy to expand a mile here and a mile there off of an existing trail, but we really need a trail
Headed south. Okay.
to the south side of the township. We really need a connection to our rec park. Those, which she mentions connecting parks, but that was point one. Point two was on page 38 of the computer version here, and if I scroll down to page 38, it mentions Star. I almost am afraid to mention this because I don't want to get any arrows, but it talks about the Star Glenwood mixed use area, and it shows 6 units per acre. Did we talk about allowing more units per acre in that area? I thought we had, but no.
I don't think so. I think we talked about,
I thought it was similar to what we have in the southwest mixed use area, but I could be mistaken, because it's kind of
It's been, I don't remember those. I mean, remember we talked about it, but I don't. remember
28th Street and the
what was-
highway and Patterson and the highway there, where all the hotels are.
On page 20, you said?
Changed.
38.
38. I thought we had, but maybe I'm wrong.
From what I recall, that was not the sense that I got. I could
Yeah,
also
no,
be
Cause all the other
recalling
numbers 6 units
incorrectly,
per
but.
acre.
Right, I
Um,
thought we had decided if we were gonna have higher density somewhere, that was where it was, and maybe that was just if they had bonuses, but.
I believe
That's
it
what
was the bonus.
Isn't that what bonus?
So this does not include the bonuses.
That's,
Bonuses could
and
be
that's
on
why it says
top
by
of-
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
May
understood.
may I make a statement about a couple things that you're saying? This is kind of why I'm not in favor of the charts, because we have so much work to do when it comes down to our transfer of development rights. If we put specifics in this document that say how many, how many units per acre and all that,
We'll have to amend it later.
yeah, we can get there where we say, we've made some different changes, but these charts to me, I think were meant with the best of intentions, and I think that you guys really heard what the community wanted, but I'm afraid with these charts that we limit ourselves in the future work we're gonna be doing with the transfer of development rights, with future area specific plans, and with the zoning ordinance.
No, I agree. I think the intent, initially, we thought we would be done with that because 6 months ago, we were ready to,
Yeah,
move forward, but we haven't had a meeting and forever and.
we have it set, we're getting
Okay,
there.
I mean, I think that was why at the time it was intended because
Yep.
we thought we would be caught up, but nothing, there's been no traction there. So there's a big gap now. And because of that, I think she's right. I think the chart should go.
Agree, yeah.
I respectfully agree with half what you said, but I think even if we were already there, this is a granularity, this is a 60,000 foot view, and again, we're doing 270 resolution, like, shouldn't the master plan be kind of more like what the farmland preservation suggested, There's a published maximum, and then there's some bonuses to be determined.
Mhm.
Like, isn't that kind of the level of what we want to discuss as opposed to pinpointing exact numbers?
Well, yes, and so the intention behind all of that months ago, when we first started having this conversation, was to have a more clear and concise direction for the planning commission to then utilize for the base of your zoning. However, I think what I'm hearing is that that's not really the direction that you guys would like to go in, and the fact that it is pigeonholing you in some ways if you have these exact numbers laid out. It is a little bit like I shouldn't say unconventional, but in most community master plans, it doesn't get into that level of detail. But we took it to that level of detail for Cascade Township because we know how.
Obsessive compulsive anal retention.
No, I
You
was,
said it,
what
not
I was
us.
trying to get at is we know how particular and how important it is for the township to maintain the high quality of life that you have. And in order to do that, the approach there was then, okay, well, let's get specific with this because of that.
I think it's good. I think we have a foundation for when we do change our zoning. So you just cut this out. Don't throw it away. Cut this out and let's
Sure.
wrap a zoning ordinance around it, but I don't think it belongs in here.
And maybe this question might be muddying things up a little bit too much, but what we could alternatively do is just cut out the last two columns. Because the other intent of having this table is because there's so many categories so that you can easily flip to a page and say, oh, this is what I'm looking for. This is a summation of all of the following categories in this chapter. So if you guys like to have some sort of like, I just need to turn to this page to know what land uses I'm looking for, what zoning this equates to and so forth, we can just chop off the last two columns. Otherwise, we can just get rid of it altogether.
I like the way you have it.
Do you?
I do. I think it gives us a good base and it gives us a reason for doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I got somebody coming in wanting 20 units an acre, I can say no.
Can you clarify though?
So-
You like it in the master plan or you like it in the zoning ordinance? Okay.
Well, they can do both. but it's
Both?
master
Okay.
plan.
This wasn't clear.
Question.
Member Reese?
Can I ask legal counsel a question? So if we leave it the way it is and then we adopt our vision of TDRs and other things with bonuses that allow for higher densities, do we have to edit the master plan then to utilize that stuff? Or if we just have that in the zoning ordinance,
if you're building off of this, certainly not. And even if you're not strictly, I mean, the master plan is not a zoning ordinance, right? It's your vision. That's why it's reviewed periodically. You certainly want to adopt ordinances that are compatible with your master plan. So if you're going to have this, then I would expect over the next 5 years, any related zoning ordinance provisions you adopt are not going to be inconsistent with this.
Thank you.
And I might also add to, I mean, we can certainly put some language in there that states, you know, a lot of this will be handled case by case basis. But another point that I was thinking about as we were talking through this is that if in the event that you get a proposal, let's say for a TDR or something to that effect, and they're proposing 12 units an acre, but the master plan says a capacity of 8, that doesn't necessarily stop you from approving that because you're allowing then higher
Sure.
property rights.
Could we just simply on that chart have a asterisk or something that says that certain areas are subject to potential TDR or future bonus options? So that we're making a reference that we may allow bonuses in certain areas down the road or.
There is, I'll have to double check what that page states.
I'm just saying maybe it would be good to have that on the, you know,
Why are we having
at
this
the top of the
conversation?
table or bottom.
And I don't mean, I'm not poo-pooing you guys, but to her point, like, why are we having this conversation now?
Well, we had this conversation before. We talked
We never
about it.
finished it?
No, you will never finish it.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
For years.
But that's what I'm saying, so let's just.
So I'm going back to my
That's the
question
other
to trustee
page.
Kibbe. What does the board want us to do?
Yeah.
Gotta ask, but I'm saying this could go on for
You
years.
pointed this out. No one did.
Everybody picking at this
Right.
and
I
that,
think it's
every
right.
meeting.
I just don't want to have a table in there that ties us down.
Right.
I don't disagree.
You're getting last by making it.
PDR program.
This one should only say private.
So.
These
all
are
you do is
very
make a
specific
sentence
with
that
her.
you allow bonus.
Factual errors need to be corrected.
That's my kind of, yes.
Yes.
Can you try to explain
Bonuses
this? Anybody
maybe-
listen to me?
Maybe allow.
One grasp that
Okay.
that's a redundancy.
Where are we at in this meeting right now?
Can I make a motion, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we remove, as it relates to the master plan, that we will table it, for 2 weeks only. And that the future land use plan chart will be removed and that, Danielle and Andrea will work with Ryan for 2 weeks only to review any grammatical or, structural errors that do not, modify the intent of this master plan. That's my motion of
Support. Can I seek clarification? You're removing the one table, not both?
both tables.
Permitted density
Because one is permitted.
and
density
futures.
Yeah, I'm sorry, permitted density in future. Thank you.
One of the tables says C table below also, so you.
That would be the first one.
The first one and the second one, which would no longer have a circular reference.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Can I ask one more point of
Supported.
clarification?
Yes.
Inherent in your motion, you say that aren't substantive, I think, changes that aren't.
I said that don't reflect, that don't change the intent. I was
Okay.
clear about that.
So my question to, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Laura.
Laura, if we remove these tables, is that,
You're not going to have to resend it and wait another 63 days.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. It's been supported. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Opposed. Motion passes 6-1.
I was gonna oppose too, but.
Thank you, Danielle.
I don't like to do one. I don't like to do weeks. Because Timmy didn't want it.
I gave you the opportunity for Timmy to chime up though on what he wanted, so.
Okay.
Twice.
I had 3 times.
I know. Right.
All right, we already went through master plan. We need to go
Minutes.
back to the approval of the meeting minutes from May 20. Let me ask a basic question. We all have a lot of comments on these. Are we all gonna go through our list of comments one at a time? Or shall we simply send them to Andrea?
We've
said
got to
probably-
do it
Yeah,
now.
the-
That's, we've.
Right, no, sorry, the
So-
problem,
So can I ask a question though? So we're doing it wrong in our parkland meetings? Because there are some meetings where the next meeting, we don't review minutes and the following meeting, we do
Same
two
thing has happened
sets.
here. That's what I don't
If you make,
understand.
so here's what Section 9 of the Open Meetings Act provides in relevant part. The public body shall make any corrections in the minutes at the next meeting after the meeting to which the minutes refer. So if we're talking about the minutes from the last meeting, now is the meeting at which you can make changes. You could, and there's case law on this as recently as 2023 from the Court of Appeals. You could approve them at a future meeting, but not with any changes or corrections to the draft minutes. So if in previous situations you've approved them later but not made corrections, you know, there's no issue with that. The issue is that the statute
We make
says,
corrections. Yeah.
well, and they haven't been challenged,
So we're good so far.
so wonderful. You know, it often comes up when there are other issues. For example, getting off topic a little bit, but if you have a lawsuit about other issues, this is the kind of thing people will bring up, right? And your minutes couldn't have been corrected. So things like that. So we want to make sure they're done correctly where we have the opportunity.
Did we use a new transcription service or something? Because it definitely seems like there were some
It'll be the
errors that we
same.
don't typically see that, and it's
Yeah,
not.
it may be. We didn't play with like AI here, but the conversation has came up about using AI for minutes.
Yeah,
We're not
look-
doing it right now.
It looks
But-
generated.
I think it was just the kind of first time staff turnover, me throwing this
Sure.
at Nick and saying, oh, by the way, you also have to have minutes and you have to get them done right now.
No,
on
no,
top
no
of
problem.
everything.
We're trying to understand
So-
it, like, it's fine. We know staff, we know that Maddie's gone and
Yeah.
we get it. It was just trying to understand it because
Yeah.
like, there were pronouns that were used really weird and I thought, all right, this reminds me of a transcription service that I've
Yeah.
used before. And that's what I thought perhaps it was, but.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah,
So
so
we're not gonna go through all these changes
We,
tonight?
why don't we have to?
Oh,
We're
she said
gonna,
we have to.
yeah, we'll do them by section. We'll just kind of run through and if, we'll point out a section and if anybody
There's
has.
3 for every sentence. I'm just gonna tell you right now. so.
But I can't see my phone because there's something in my eye.
Oh, darn.
And for what it's worth, if it helps, and I tell a lot of clients this because a lot of clients do like very detailed minutes, but do keep in mind, the law does not require a detailed narrative of every statement that was made by every person at the meeting. You do it the way you want to do it, but all that you're required to have is the items
Thank
that were
you,
covered,
Danielle.
the motions and the votes.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we go through it one article at a time? Let's just start with Article 1.
Hates you guys.
Any changes?
Definitely.
I
There's gonna be
believe
so
Laura
much.
Genovich was the legal counsel via Zoom, not Leslie.
I believe that's correct. I know I'm referenced in the later.
You are, so I'm
comments.
trying to figure out how. Anybody else
Okay.
for Article 1?
Article, anything else on Article 1?
Trying to-
Moving on, Article 2.
Hey, I don't have no issues with Article 2. I didn't give me some slack, right?
I'm not saying anything.
Everyone has concerns.
I don't even read the minutes.
Article 3, any changes?
So yes,
Enthusiasm.
so this is, I need help from member Nordyke.
Yeah.
Member Nordic recommended moving Article 9 to occur for Article 7. Motion was made by Member Bruno to approve the current agenda with proposed changes, right? We moved
We did.
Sturgis to being before 7 and 8.
I thought we did.
I thought we did too.
Yes.
Correct.
So my change would be, motion was made by Member Bruno to approve the current agenda with proposed changes.
Remember, we don't have to be super specific here. Remember Nordic made a motion to adjust the agenda and the agenda was adjusted. Is that, Laurel, is that?
Well,
gonna be
you did,
sufficient?
but this doesn't say you made, you didn't.
Yeah, I'm
make
not
a
changing what
motion.
you wrote. I'm just saying that I made the motion to approve it like you said.
What is missing from Article 3 as the result of the vote?
It doesn't say if we actually changed the agenda or not. It says
Correct.
that Chris
We recommended
made a
Chris recommended
recommendation
it.
to
Was
change it.
Approved or not.
And
I
then
made
there was a motion made to approve it, but,
All right,
which
so
I
how about that?
supported.
Did I approve it as original or did I approve it as amended?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree that should be clear if it was
Yeah.
to approve, that's correct, but also it should say what the vote was.
So member Nordic recommended moving Article 9 to occur before Article 7. Motion was made by member Bruno to approve the current agenda as recommended by member Nordic. This was supported by member Rissy and unanimously voted on. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Article 4, disclose any conflicts of interest. The only one I have is the last sentence, members recognize the disclosure and none had concerns related to it. Is that members recognize the disclosure?
I think that was you, Ryan, wasn't it?
It was, so I'll let,
Is that spelled incorrectly?
You were a neighbor or.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that sentence. It's a little odd, but
Leave it as is?
the very first sentence is the one I take issue with because it's not really. Member Bruno disclosed they were close enough to the applicant to receive the notice of being within 300 feet of applicant.
So what?
Member Bruno
I
disclosed.
think what I see here is that member Bruno talks too much.
Could be. Would you prefer I not disclose?
I don't know, that's just. what the
I second
minutes
that
say.
motion.
Sorry, I had to. Yeah, you pitched it right there. I mean,
It's fair, it's fair.
He has something in his eye again, Scott.
So are we still talking about Article 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so can we change that first sentence to say, member Bruno disclosed,
He was close
He
enough to
lives-
the applicant.
Disclosed.
member Bruno disclosed receiving the 300-foot notice?
They lived within 300 feet of the subject
Okay.
property.
I don't think you need to use the word disclosed because you're talking
Okay.
about disclosing conflicts.
Sure. What did you say, Madison? I think I liked it.
You disclosed that you were within 300 feet of the subject property.
Bingo. Thank you. Perfect. Much better. That's all we gotta say.
While we're on Article
Hold on,
4.
hold on, hold on. And then while you're at it, can you, my pronoun is he, not they. Can you change it to he stated?
Especially since it says he at the end of that paragraph. Like, why use both? Yeah.
That could be a different reference.
But as Chairman Moxley pointed out, it is supposed to be members recognize the disclosure, not the person as a disclosure. That's not,
Thank you.
please change that word.
Wait, are we deleting everything else then?
No, I think that's
Okay,
fine. Just
okay.
change the pronouns. He stated they have the same issues with the deer.
And the pronoun.
Okay.
Got it, noted.
Article 5.
Article 5, approve the minutes of May 6th. Any changes there?
Yeah, I would.
What was the amendment?
That's exactly what my question was. If we make an amendment, it should have been here. I'd like to see staff find out what that amendment was, listen to the transcript of the meeting and input that in there. I'm not gonna try to remember what I said, but I don't know, because number one, I don't know if the change was made to the previous minutes or not. Number two,
That was,
I don't know what the change was reading this. And I think
Well, hopefully it
I
was
think it
changed.
should be there. Anytime we recommend an amendment to minutes, the language should show up in these minutes.
Agreed with that.
Thank you.
Okay, Article 6, it's a long one. Any changes? Down by the bottom, Charlevoix Drive is misspelled.
down by the bottom as in,
Access to Charlevoix Drive was discussed.
Oh, you're in Article
You're on the
6?
next page already. You're on Article 7?
Yeah, we're still in Article 6.
oh,
Do you have issues with Article 6?
Oh,
I don't.
excuse me. Yep.
He just jumped.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Article 7, down by the bottom.
I have a question there, though. So if we renumber, so if we do Article 9 before 7, do the minutes need to go in order or not necessarily? Should we do Article 9 now?
Whoa, that just blew my mind. I'm sorry, what?
We had this debate in the Parks Commission. I don't know the legalese on it. We modified the agenda to do Article 9 before Article 7. So did the minutes need to be on that order? Or does it
The
matter?
minutes should reflect the order in which you actually discussed the
Okay,
things. So if the
so
next
9
thing you talked
before
about,
7.
yeah, if you talked about Greencastle after public comment, then it is correct to have that next in your minutes.
No.
okay,
So,
so 2303 Thornapple River Drive
Needs to be
in
moved up.
its entirety.
So you would keep the articles number, but just change the order?
Correct.
Well, that
Actually-
Why would
that
you
would-
renumber?
Yeah,
No,
you renumber
no,
it.
you
Yeah,
don't
you wouldn't,
renumber.
you wouldn't have it go out of order in the minutes because by moving one up, even if you don't say it, you are by implication doing that one next. So you can keep
Okay.
a logical
so
sequence
we're
of
talking
numbers.
Article 9 right now.
Yep.
First paragraph, Thorn apples misspelled. It's one word, it's not two words.
Okay, so now that's gonna be Article 7.
And this is where it gets, this is why I was hoping we could send this back. If you just start reading this, the zoning administrator, Smith Jacoby, presented the applicant's request to increase the fence on her property to 8-foot fence that is 40 feet by 20 feet. Her house is set back 300 feet and the fence would be around just the trees and the fence would be 200 feet away from Thorn Apple River Drive. There's not a single period.
Is that a problem?
Wait a minute, where was Thornapple
All the
spelled wrong? It's
information
at
was
the
there.
end
In
of.
Article 9.
Thornapple, okay, to go down.
Case number
I got it.
24-3824.
And it gets worse from there, I'm sorry, but
The applicant, Mary.
The fourth paragraph, that's all one sentence.
Okay, zoning administrator Smith Jacoby presented the applicant's request to increase the fence on her property to 8 feet.
yeah, but she doesn't have a fence, so she's not increasing it. The proposed fence, to increase
Okay.
the proposed fence.
And it's 40 feet by 20 feet her house. It's set back 300 feet.
Okay, zoning.
And then the next sentence says she had split the previous lot to set her back from neighbors from privacy reasons. No, she split the lot to build a new home. Splitting the lot didn't have to do with setbacks.
No. Could just say she spoke in support of her request, but it's up to you.
Perfect. You can scratch
It
all-
doesn't require a transcript or detailed narrative by law. It's a matter of preference.
I get that, but if we're gonna write something, it should,
It
be
should be
coherent.
accurate. I agree.
no, just
It-
even
yeah.
coherent, let's start with coherence.
I've
So if you wanna strike all this and make it really simple, I'm good with that, but we can't have it as is.
Yeah, my suggestion was if we don't remember exactly what the
Look at the
applicant,
trustee
then we can
Norfolk.
shorten it.
That's even more. Just
Simplify the amendments.
read it.
Just
What?
state
Look
that
for your name.
the
Which
article
one?
is rewritten
7.
better summary.
No, 9.
No, because they need to actually approve minutes if they want to have changes. Yeah. Sorry to be the
No,
the
that-
wet
we need to do
blanket.
it right.
Yeah. Pizza's on me if we're here till midnight, but.
We're getting there.
Okay. Since we're still, zoning administrator Smith Jacoby presented the applicant's request for an 8-foot fence in her front yard. Period. Good. The proposed fence was set back 300 feet from the road.
No, I think the fence is back 200 feet. I think her house is back 300.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fence, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it needs to get that.
Yeah, I really.
You could just say that the fence is.
The zoning administrator, Smith Jacoby, present, was there a report in this packet?
Yeah.
Yeah. present
No, it's
on-
fine. I don't.
I get you've never read minutes, but you wanna read this one.
No.
Yeah.
How would this hold up?
Okay, yeah, are you guys okay with the way that we just changed it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you know what we just changed?
Wait, can you summarize? You have no idea.
can't summarize it, but you
No, I cannot.
All right.
No, wait, just.
No, I cannot.
Minutes. It's just, wait till you get the minutes of this meeting.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, I would suggest, yeah, zoning administrator, D.A. Smith Jacoby, summarize the applicant.
Well, my question is,
Yeah.
can we,
What?
Has Lorna changed her mind yet on what?
What's it
to do
called?
and not do?
No.
Can we table, go to closed session while they wordsmith this and we'll be back an hour from the bar?
Yeah, there you go.
That would be recessing in, it would not
Will we
be closed
recess?
session.
Can we recess and come back?
Yeah.
Could we,
Is
I
that a
mean,
serious
is
question?
ZA like?
To have us all sit here and wordsmith these next 3 pages
I mean,
seems
we
like
can take a
travesty.
recess. We have to get this done now.
Okay, because at the beginning it says zoning administrator, then it has the ZA in parentheses, then later it just says ZA Smith
Yes,
Jacoby.
it's put in parentheses so that later on you're referencing
Right.
that.
But to that point, you never put PD in parentheses and out of the clear blue sky, PD starts getting referenced.
Okay, I was just answering this question.
But no, it's a very valid point. We should be consistent.
Yes.
I was called a they and I'd like to change
Oh.
it to a he.
You don't like someone judging your pronouns for you?
Recess is not a bad idea. Okay. Recess is not a bad
All right, seriously?
So we can just,
It
I mean,
switches
you
from
Ryan,
can,
back to he.
I would like to make a motion that we recess and come back in 45 minutes?
No way.
20 minutes and we'll
20
have
minutes?
this done.
20 minutes?
And then we'll just put them up on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to have them go through it and we can, I mean, is there?
Yeah,
any-
we're gonna go,
is there
staff,
any
Well, my
business?
question is how fast, like, at some point, are we just making stuff up and getting it wrong? Like, shouldn't this, can someone pull the tape and do this
Yeah, that's what we'll
at a
do.
much higher level and actually
It's
get
thir-
it kind
about
of
30
somewhat right,
minutes.
and then we come back?
Some of it, yeah.
yeah, and again, some of it doesn't need to necessarily have the high level of detail either. If staff is presenting on a report, you don't have to also say everything they've
That's
said
a
about
great
their
question.
report.
Who did these?
I-
minutes?
I think 20 minutes is sufficient.
Was this AI?
That would be
did-
our new staff member that we don't want to scare away the first week.
Nick
Nick
Remember,
already
I
quit.
always
He
did my
already
first
walked
week,
out
Was
and
this-
quit.
And I would prefer if he didn't, so be nice.
I'm just wondering if it was AI.
I think it was transcript, I think it was transcribed.
I would say I did transcribe a lot of it just because, watching the previous meetings, people wanting to make note that what was said by the applicant, what was said by the
Yeah.
people that's there for like legal reasons would be the current
Oh, yeah, that,
situation was brought up a few times, so I was just making sure that I was having every information or all the information. Like a legal type thing. But yeah, the errors and stuff, though, is definitely. Yeah, I don't know if they had it on transferring over or they just didn't get punctuation and stuff. That they, right, a lot of our verbiage was using paper and everything.
Yeah.
That worked for one thing.
We're on the other edge, just so you know.
Going forward, and if your guys' recommendation.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's all in good humor, dude. We don't.
It's
we're
the
not
first time.
busting
You get a pass for sure.
Maddie did it, we bust and chops, but he.
No cake for her.
but if you saw how well organized our files were
Yeah.
and how, all the other stuff that he's rocking out.
Do you want to do other business? If anybody has any other business, then we don't
Oh,
have to come
gosh.
back after the recess, or what do you want to?
Or do you want,
Support that. We get everything else done.
Yeah, get
Yep,
everything
you
else.
have to
done.
come back no matter what, just to be
I'm-
clear.
on this one, do you want, like, so obviously the grammar's all off, but there's some material changes as well, like on the top of page, what is, on the page? not-
Well, I guess that's a good question. Other than coherence and things like that, were there any actual substantive, like, that wasn't the motion I made, that's not how I voted types of changes that should be brought to our attention in doing this rewrite?
I think I have,
No, there's a few spots where you don't say how, what the vote was.
Yeah,
but-
we'll need to have that, and we can look at the recording for that to make sure it's accurate.
yep, and I think I have like 3 or 4, like, rather important, I think Charlevoix Drive,
yeah.
and the first sentence on, I don't know what page this is. Article 7 spills over to the next page. Planning Director Hendrick, I think we should have parentheses PD, because we start calling her PD after that. With applicant to amend PUD 33 or PUD 63, it's actually 67.
Mm, okay.
And then maybe in parentheses, the existing Fox Motors, because it's like a run-on sentence there. It's just-
No, it is, there's two PUDs. It was,
Yes, 33
amended.
and 67,
okay.
not 33 and 63, yes.
So 63 to 67.
Going down, next paragraph's fine, next paragraph's fine, next paragraph. I believe Planning Director Hendrick responded saying that they are not under any obligation and felt that everyone has a right to denial, not, I think the word but should be an and, if I understood what Ms. Hendrick was saying at the time.
Wait, where are you? I'm lost.
Still Article 7, paragraph 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4. Planning Director Hendrick responded saying that they are not under any obligation but felt, I think it should be and felt, if I remember correctly what you said. Member Nordic asked a pointed question. 2, 3, 4. Paragraph 5, applicant is proposing unfolding the property, infolding the property of PD 33 into PD 67. Not really true. The applicant was proposing unfolding a portion of property PUD 33. There's a portion of PUD 33 they're going to leave intact. They had that red dash line around what part they were gonna, so it's a portion. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Paragraph 8.
Yes.
I had recommended that if you end that sentence with through investing in parks, the first go around, I said small biz replacement service, small biz replacement service. Later on, I talk about parks, that's captured.
Wait, so member Bruno stated that he had received comments on the displacement of new small businesses
Keep going at the
that the community
community.
relied on. He mentioned that he would like the applicant to consider providing community benefits through,
Small biz replacement, through a small biz replacement service, not investing in parks. That's later. And then go down 1, 2, 3 more, I guess, paragraphs or sentences, not really paragraphs. Access to Charlevoix Drive was discussed, so Charlevoix is spelled wrong, and then I think we should, this was something that, Member Richardson, couldn't think of his last name, sorry. Member Richardson brought up. I think this is one that is important when we get the material. Access to Charlevoix was discussed in regard to emergency access drive. Like, why were we discussing Charlevoix? Because of the emergency access.
Correct.
Like, I think that's the key part.
Well, they say that the emergency access is through a car parking lot, car dealership lot, which is not.
Right, but you see, they don't
Right,
discuss it. It just says
okay.
it was brought up. So you wanna know why it was
Okay.
brought up.
Yeah.
So
good point.
that's your point. You can, whatever you want to say there.
Access to Charlevoix, once we correctly spell that, drive was discussed in regard to emergency access to
Got
it.
it.
Or
Okay.
something to that.
Is that all for Article 7?
I just changed it.
Yes.
Anything in Article 8 that's
Craft is misspelled.
besides like grammatical? or
Yeah, we'll catch
spelling
those.
errors? Any
Second,
information that needs?
second paragraph in Article 8, I did say this, but, Planning Director, Hendricks corrected me. Member Bruno brought up that the board had worked on overlays for this area, and you said, no, you don't, you mean rezoning? I said, yes. So Member Bruno brought up the board had worked on rezoning for this area, because it wasn't overlays.
Yeah, craft is misspelled.
Got that.
And then 1, 2,
Who's
3,
capitalized?
4, 5. Paragraph 5, member Reese questioned what the applicant's use would fall under, as this use would fall, what the applicant is proposing is that the use would fall under private contractor storage and service yard. That whole paragraph, I think, needs to be stricken, or it seems like it's the same phrase over and over and over again.
And maybe I said that.
Over and over and over again.
We could put that. Remember,
Here's what I would say for it. Member Reese questioned what the applicant's use would fall under, as this use would fall under private contractor storage and service yard, and strike out what the applicant is proposing is that the use would fall.
And then I think the last paragraph, member Bruno voiced that members of the board had spent the better part. I think I would have said the members of the commission. Because we're not a board. and a board.
now what chapter are we on?
It's the last paragraph, still Article 8.
Are we okay with everything else?
Yeah, craft is
Last
also
one on that page, I guess there's.
misspelled
more
again
after that.
there.
Also,
Wait, I still didn't find that. Wait, oh, here, yeah.
quickly
Remember
back up
Bruno
to the second
voiced.
one,
Commission instead of board.
the second paragraph of Article 8, where it says Craft West. Could that be changed to west of Craft? Please.
Yes,
Yeah, then it'd be similar to the last paragraph on that page.
yes.
And then the next to the last paragraph on that page, member Reese mentioned the utilities and service boundary is different than where the utilities currently are constructed, and that they may need to be extended at the cost of the applicant. I then looked up, I said, member Bruno agreed and pointed to the fact that the hydrant on the northwest corner of Craft and 60th. I think we should point out that we let them know where the nearest connection is.
Yellow ones are Caledonia Township and red ones are Cascade Township. Fire
Anything
hydrants.
left for Article 8?
Over there, our hydrants are red.
The different colors.
Because everybody else in the township, they're yellow.
Where is the nearest
Water pressure.
connection?
Caledonia Township has yellow fire hydrants. If you look on the corner of 60th and
Yeah.
Craft, you'll see reds and yellows.
What are the
Really?
colors?
Why do we have yellow everywhere else then if we just have red there? That's
Oh.
strange.
The
Well,
colors
yeah.
mean how many
And-
gallons per minute, so that the firefighters can identify like.
It is on the,
Interesting.
let me find that section again, one. Northwest of Craft and 60th.
Thank you.
Or, I guess how wide the water main is. It says there's charts online, like red, yellow, green, blue, all mean something different.
That's cool, I didn't realize.
Anything for Article 9?
We already did that, I think.
Yeah, we did that.
Huh.
Article 10, besides grammatical or spelling errors that will fix.
It starts with PD, but I think if you put PD after Ms. Hendricks earlier, it works. And in the last sentence of that paragraph, I might have like bumped my head and forgotten, but there's that last sentence I don't recall at all. Zero recollection. The biggest factors in the staff's decision on recommendation for approval was the topography and vegetation of the site. You wanted us to approve adding additional square footage because of topography and vegetation?
Yeah, I think it was more like the parcel size in general.
I would recommend you just strike that sentence.
Perfect. And then nowhere in there, I'd asked about, was it business use? You have an answer that's not
In
business use, but you
relation-
didn't ask why.
Wait, sorry, what?
Mr. Kabut, if I'm saying his name right, mentioned, in relation to possible business use due to conference rooms and the plans there for family residential use. That was in response to a question I asked, but
But we don't have the question in there, is that what you're saying?
correct.
Okay, well, how do we want to add your question? Or we want to just strike that?
You can, I'd add, it's a weird, I would maybe add in response to Member Bruno's question. And then just say that sentence. It's just, otherwise it's just strange.
But everything else is perfect.
We have to
I had
make
no
a
other
change.
comments.
I had
Vote on
two.
what they're approving.
Can I do my two?
Scott?
So we'll,
For which article?
I have two, one's for Article 9 and one for Article 12. So in Article 9, I made a comment,
I'm not ready, hold on,
Just a second.
sorry. Who knows? Okay, now Article 9, which is.
Article 9, about 4 paragraphs up from the motion. It says member Rissy stated it was.
Wait, are we talking about the original Article 9? or the
Yes,
new
I'm
Article
sorry.
9?
Yes,
So the tree, we're talking about Mary Hollister's?
yes.
Okay,
And I think and I may have said it this way, I may not have been clear enough, but my concern is that what it says here is not
Okay.
technically accurate, but the last sentence, it says also stating also that residents are currently able to build a 6-foot fence in the front yard closer to the road. That was in reference to us approving fences
Yeah, I remember.
specifically, but not, I mean, the way it's written here, it makes it sound like you can go out and build a
Just
fence
go
6
do
feet
it.
tall in front of your
also
house.
stating
So I think we
that.
should strike that last sentence because it's deceiving.
Gone.
Well, but I want it in there because it was a bombshell. So let's get it how you said it, because you said along Thornapple River Drive, we have always historically allowed people to build 6-foot fences in their front yard, and that just blew my. brain.
We have approved those.
Okay. so
You know, you drive up Thornapple Drive, there's 6-foot fences along, just like on
I,
Cascade Road,
I
right?
can only
There's a
see
right-
one. I drive it every day, so that's news to me.
Okay. Well, if it's a busy road and it's a corner lot.
Justify it, just
Yeah.
capture the minutes correctly.
I just feel like that should be tweaked a little because in its current form, it sounds like you just built a fence if you want. The other item I was gonna mention is Article 12, the very last sentence. Member Rissy expressed concern over Kent County Road Commission development process. I would say, I guess I would like to word that a little differently. I was sharing in Member Roland's frustration on Cascade Road, and I think my concern was more of the process in which the Kent County Road Commission engages with citizens. I think the point I was trying to make is that I had 3 examples where the road commission had a hearing, sometimes in this very room, told our citizens they do X, and then when the road is built, they did Z.
And that's exactly what he said.
You want that verbatim? We can go
That's a
back.
perfect replay. That's what he said.
Pretty much.
Okay, back to that.
Hold on, he raises a good point. So on I guess we're on to section 12. On section
Well,
12.
I'm not, hold on,
Oh,
I
sorry.
can't do all, I want to get this right. So I'm on the comment about historically 6-foot fences. He stated that the planning commission has traditionally approved 6-foot fences on Thorn.
River Drive, period. Now, what were we just talking about? Now, are we still, we've left Article 7, which is, or Article 9, which is now 7?
Article 12, last sentence.
Okay, and we're all, okay.
So member Reese points out, I think a lot of these are like individual bullet lines, but a lot of them should be combined. Like he's saying that his was in response to member Rowland, and when taken out of context, it's weird. So it's like member Rowland expressed, it should be semicolon, whatever member Reese just said. The same is true for like member Bruno asked for clarity on best practices and variances. So it's the second sentence. And then legal counsel Genovich provided guidance and clarification on what? Like those go together. So it's almost like sentence 1 stands on its own. Sentence 2 and 3 should be joined together with a semicolon. Sentence 4 is probably fine. Sentence 5 and 6 should probably join together because Chair Moxley asked for an update on farmland preservation. That's fine. But Director Hendricks said the next meeting would be in mid to late June. What meeting? The farmland preservation. So I think a lot of those need to be tied together because as an individual bullet, it makes 0 sense.
Okay.
And councils.
Oh, I always get the councils wrong. That one was me.
And then like another one, the planning commission requested legal documentation regarding the Grand Rapids Airport suit. Like what do we ask for documentation on?
The response.
Sure.
Mhm.
And the next one, remember when I asked for an update on 5441 36th Street site plan review application? No, I asked for an update on 5441 36th Street cease and desist. The application was approved.
No, they've submitted a new one, but site plan,
No,
okay.
that's not what I said. I asked were they honoring the cease and desist?
Okay.
And to that, you provided an update status. Again, those should be joined somehow.
Where is it?
So we can take a little bit of time if the planning commission wants to make a motion to recess for 20 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry?
we're close. I'd say 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Well, let's talk other business then. If anybody have any other business?
Can you guys do this while we're conducting other business? Or would you prefer that we take
If
the
you're-
recess?
Do you
'Cause I
need
think
our-
it'll distract
I mean,
you.
It would be difficult to do it in this
Yeah.
room while you're talking,
Okay.
That's what I was afraid of.
because we'll need to talk.
Okay, well, then I mean, we have to have the minutes right? And they're saying they need 20 minutes to do
All right.
this. I
I'd
think we have
recommend
to
we, like,
recess for 20.
engage in
minutes.
engagement.
So I do
You
wanna-
said at the beginning of the meeting that we did not have to approve them. We just could not amend them. We have given you all of our
No, no, no.
amendments.
So if you do not approve these that we are correcting now tonight, then when you come back at your next meeting, you have to approve the original ones that were in your
Got it.
packet
Thank
with
you.
all the mistakes. You're welcome. I didn't mean for that to sound so
No, no, no,
abrasive.
no, no. That's
That's helpful.
what I'm looking for.
I make a motion, we take a 20-minute recess.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Anybody on
opposed?
TikTok? Here it
Opposed.
Motion-
Requirement.
We just have to do a motion.
I'd make a motion to return from recess.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're back in session.
Does the staff have any minutes for us?
Do you have any bump cakes or?
Wait, I would have brought you something, but we didn't go out to get anything.
I'm gonna switch.
We just
these
stood on the
over
porch.
So that. Let me see if I can.
We were too busy keeping member Richardson awake.
I don't blame
Talking
you.
him off a ledge.
I think there's, never mind, they're not gonna stay.
We talked about a lot of matters we're gonna review next week, so
Oh, God, do not.
all
say
that's
that.
been designed.
All under new business.
Yeah,
You guys need a babysitter out there.
well, actually, we talked about
Man,
light
Timmy.
bulbs.
And Timmy's the babysitter.
We talked. Watching the kids.
All right.
Talked about the garden hose.
It'll be a quick meeting. We decided everything already.
Let the record reflect they're joking.
Yes, yes. I don't even know what's on the agenda.
I don't either. I just-
I think that we got through most of it. Made it for us?
We need to read it out loud or can we just scan it?
Yeah, we just kind of,
What? Yeah, we can give the overview of our changes. It's really up to the commission. If everybody wants to have time to read every bit of it, we can absolutely do that.
So we did correct Laura Janovich.
Just hit the highlights.
Updated.
Yeah, updated there.
Disclosure,
Okay.
added.
Can you
Article-
Even
scroll up?
Missed the pronoun change in Article 4, go up.
Yes, thank you.
Scroll up. Still says they. At next sentence.
Yeah, this is on the
Oh, you don't have that on the computer, that's.
third
weird.
sentence also.
Oh, actually, I could now. Let me.
That's way too tricky.
Okay. Better.
Stated.
Ah,
As stated,
okay,
hesitating.
Thinking this
You can't
space.
have it this.
I'm gonna switch it.
Okay.
Where's my mom?
You guys can't tell it. She doesn't have it on her computer screen, only up there, so making the
Oh.
changes,
So again, duplicate display.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna close it. You got me coffee or? Thanks.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Rob, how you doing?
All right, here we go. Stated that we have the same issue, dear, member recognized disclosure, members here.
sorry.
Is that
Okay.
okay? Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Why don't you do a find and replace with they?
That's true, we're all males up here, so they can become he pretty.
Gee, well, now we're making up pronouns, sorry, he has.
Making them up, I think it's making them accurate, right? Well, my concern with the they is it's not consistent.
Just sounds so plural.
But like, but if it was there everywhere, then like I could probably, I don't like it, but I could live with it, like, but it's not, it's like,
Within one paragraph, it goes.
yeah,
back and
it goes
forth.
back and forth, not consistent.
No, that's good. I thought you were just gonna run, but I would be.
Oh.
Hold on, that's a weird saying, and stated he could be he could be impartial. He doesn't have a vested interest in applicants or and if it's money or not.
Oh.
And stated he could be impartial.
And if it is a moneymaker.
Where-
It's weird, the whole thing's weird.
Just delete that whole
think
paragraph.
You keep working on it.
Yeah, just do, he stated he could be impartial
24/7.
Is that part of the full membership?
No.
and delete all that, doesn't have a vested
You wanna-
interest.
Do you want to delete everything after member Bruno disclosed he lived, he was presented to be the subject property?
That's year round.
Is that the suggestion?
24/7.
No, I would just, where her cursor's at right now, delete that sentence before it.
Before it, or
New restaurant, do we get to use?
did I just do what you wanted me to do?
Say it, so, but I didn't know.
If you're not a member, you can still-
Right.
There you go, nope.
Like we could treat it like we're any, like. there's not-
He stated he could be impartial as he and most members of the community have the same issues. There you go.
No.
He stated he could be impartial and that he and most of the members have the same. Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Okay, and then we added in the language,
And those are member only. You're not-
Do it opposite.
from the previous applicant. That
Why is
Mr.
motion-
Piper. Piper's not spelled.
So.
I need to correct the spelling of this, but I don't know how to spell it.
Uh-oh.
So, no, I'm gonna change these to the correct spelling.
So you can do that after we approve it?
Yeah, no. No one's gonna accuse you over changing the spelling of Kuiper.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I don't want to stay here for an hour and still get sued.
Is it KUY?
I haven't the foggiest
Typical
idea.
Spelling.
Okay, nobody wishes to
But
speak.
the member, the rounds that you buy.
Mary Holland,
you can't
you
use
pretty
that
much
if
did
you're
this.
not a member, correct?
That the homeowner,
Like, you get, let's say,
Supposed to
buy
build
four,
this-
you tell me you
we
need
changed
you buy
that.
those for a non-member?
this, build the home 300 feet from the front property line in parentheses ZBA,
Oh, really? That's.
and the created self-inflicted.
It's such a scale.
Yeah, so homeowner should be one word.
Yeah, all right.
How many guys are teaming up?
Hold on, in reference to the ZBA in the creation, yeah,
I do that now anyway. Wednesdays.
All right.
that's perfect, yeah, that's fine.
Resolution.
Sorry. stop.
I don't blame you.
Member Bruno, where my cursor is at here, was this your statement at the end? That you felt approval would open a can of worms for the township?
Yep.
It's
I'm
not a
gonna-
lot. I think it's like.
But that's, and member Bruno questioned if this is the right solution to the pattern and referring to like too many different tenses, past tense and referring to local residents mentioning using a possible call.
Then you probably wouldn't hear that.
Right.
And referred to using a possible call for this issue.
That's it.
I like it because it's.
For the studies being done by, that's a weird sentence.
Sun goes 24/7.
Bunch of lights burned out.
And referred to vocal.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's got everything you need.
Yeah. So cable type
Do you need to say they're vocal?
I didn't say they're vocal. I don't know where the word came from. But
If they talk, I guess they're vocal, but refer to residents,
It's like a squawk.
suggesting,
Two square packs of Smith machine,
All right, nice.
and then like a cable that you can do all kinds of shit.
Like press.
possible call
Like.
along with
Yeah.
per the studies currently,
Yep.
per, I don't know, rather than along with, per the
Sure.
studies.
No.
You understand what I'm talking about? You can do some stuff.
Again, there's probably machines, I wish they.
Had your own spot?
right, number we see a pronoun issue here
Alright.
too.
I have one of those at home. Is it a raised track bar? You don't talk about like where there's a, it's raised up a little. bit.
Oh, the handles, yeah.
Does have that?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Along.
But I think you should say, Commissioner, or he stated the planning commission, he stated that the planning commission, not commissioner, has traditionally approved 6-foot fences in front yards on Thorn River Drive.
Okay, yep, I'll fix that.
There's enough free rates. They need a preacher badge, but.
There you go.
No, they don't have it. So they have a incline bench, right?
Incline, the benches are flat or inclined and they have a decline.
They do have a decline.
Can we add the in the front yard part?
Sorry, where does in the front yard go?
He stated the planning commission has traditionally approved 6-foot fences in front yards along
Ah.
Thorn River Drive.
Sorry, I missed that.
Slowing it down bells. But not more.
Are they flat grip or?
I love trustees Nordhike's comments, but they fell on
Nice
deaf
fence.
ears. I wish it said the applicant stated she hadn't, said she'd look into it, and she redacted her case. Didn't happen, did it?
Sorry, was that something that needs to be added or just a comment?
I was-
Okay, all right, okay. Motion to, I'm actually gonna say open the public hearing.
You don't get live classes, but you get the recording.
Hearing, okay.
I don't need to-
Following conditions were good, right? We indicated who supported and opposed that motion since it was not unanimous.
You weren't joking.
Article 7, all good, okay?
What's red underlined right there?
Those are the.
Is that spelled wrong?
Like.
That's how you spell it.
Oh, it's a last name.
It's not.
There's a D after that R.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I like that it
Yeah,
recognizes your name.
they have that, but not like.
Just be Timmy or-
One of these slabs that have.
So we've cleaned up this language in Article 8.
This is just regular. Like middle of storage.
Okay.
North means north, right? I got 2 sit-down ellipticals, 2 sit-down bikes. They have the pedals on them.
What is that?
What do you think about that for ratio and then they just got like.
Yeah, great job for you.
8 machines.
My dad flies up 2 orders.
Oh, nice.
Water
Oh,
road.
right.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Yeah, the fans.
Who has the right to deny?
Where?
Everyone has the right to deny.
You guys want to hear too? It's a funny joke. My dad, 80 years old, district. He's flying from Florida to Michigan. He's on this plane. There's this young lady who's my age, so I appreciate the still thinks I'm young, but that's him feeling young. He says, "Quick
African
question."
poison and folding expression.
Recording is still in
The text.
progress.
It's closer.
Recording is still in
Well, he
progress.
moved his microphone. It's cool.
Right.
It's a joke.
I
So-
don't think that's cool.
Oh, there we go.
I said, why?
Is this meeting still being recorded?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's just a joke.
I'm not saying it, I'm
It
being.
will be
quiet.
transcribed for next time's minutes.
That's fine.
Remember, Roland is not speaking.
Explain what it is. Why? Well, he said it all started with, it took like 45 minutes to load the plane because 14 people had wheelchairs. We no sooner got on the scene. And they announced that thunderstorm was moving through and everything. He said, we no sooner got the plane, and they said, no. it's
That's
far
clever.
past." And the young lady next to me looked at me, turned to me and said, what?
I'm gonna assume everyone's reading along and keeping up. Oh,
He says, it gets better. He says,
Thank you.
Yep, sorry.
And a bolt of lightning strikes. And that comes over and says, sorry, everyone, but disappears. He says, how does everybody know this term except for me?
Oh.
Anyway, my point is,
Well, you need to tell your dad.
I get it now.
you didn't get the punchline. There was a point to that.
Oh.
It's delayed.
No, so.
Oh, as much as I don't care for the language, I do, I do care for the humor.
It was just a.
And for the record, it was not my language. My dad was asking me for a, what would you call that? Urban definition or something?
We had a motion, we didn't.
Summarize the
It was just the applicant to then take their comments. and
Okay.
decide if they
No.
wanted to
Got it.
clarify.
Oh,
Okay.
He had me describe to what one is, and I think we're in one.
No, I'm good.
You are.
I don't know.
Stated as
I
capitalized right there.
I wake up and just go to work when I wake up, but I get there like usually around six.
Recommended changes to
Yeah.
the future land use of the zoning, what's that?
All right, so
Sometimes it goes south.
can I make a new motion? We just need quorum, right? I'm willing to, like, I don't have a meeting first thing in the morning. Can we dismiss members and keep the minimum quorum? And those who are dismissed kind of, you just scratch their back some point?
Fantastic idea. Is anybody dying to leave?
I don't need to leave.
Sounds like it sounds like he's got an early commitment. Can we dismiss him and say?
I'm all right, guys. You just.
Well, not you, you're retired. We're keeping you. It was this young man. Hell.
You're on the periphery.
I thought there was a hammock under there for you anyway.
Sleeping here today.
Yeah, besides, you're only gonna sleep for like 3 hours anyways.
Old people get up early.
I'd make a motion to excuse member Robinson.
I second that.
Richardson.
And Robinson.
Sorry. Both of them. Mr. Robinson left, but yeah, Mr. Richardson, I would make a motion to excuse Mr. Richardson.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Out of here.
See ya.
That's unexcused,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Can we just put all these minutes in the minutes? Oh.
Sorry, we got as much, we got.
And I don't remember my like grammar that well, but directions only need to be like, we have east and west and all these capitalized. It's not necessary, is it?
No, this should
Yeah.
not be capitalized. Grammar nerd here.
We have a lot of random capitalization.
Like the word airport?
Thorn apple.
Hey. Craft West.
Craft West.
So literally, the word airport.
Oops, that's not where to put that.
I don't think the word airport needs to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
on it, you got
All
it.
right.
Yep.
I'm just trying to help.
No, I appreciate it.
We should have ordered a pizza. That's what we should have done.
I,
That would have been a
I
great.
said if we were here till midnight, I would get the pizza, but then all the pizza places are closed, so you're on.
Ordered a pizza at 9:20 and had it delivered.
That's true. I mean,
Domino's across the street.
I'm open business. Can
Well,
we
they
make a
should have
motion
said that.
that JT's should be open on Mondays so we can go after our meeting? I mean, isn't that enough reason to be open on Mondays? Shouldn't they close on Tuesday?
No, he works hard all week long and he uses that time.
I'm not denying it. Can you just move it to Tuesday?
Did?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never even seen him in there.
Oh, he's in there all the time on Mondays. He's doing all sorts.
On Mondays?
Yeah, he's working.
When they close?
Yeah, he works like
No, that's
all the
smart,
time.
and he gets everything prepped.
Yeah, he gets a lot done. I mean,
So what you're saying is if we like went to the back door and slipped on some, you might like open the.
No, but I
door
think
for
that,
like-
I'm serious.
I don't think
I
he's
think
in
the
there
goal is
making
good for like a
food.
week. Like when you make dough and put it in the refrigerator, like, I think you get a week out of it, so that would make sense if he's prepping all of his dough.
I don't think I think he's doing more like management.
Oh,
stuff.
like administrative stuff,
Yes,
like reviewing stuff.
I think so. I don't know.
Anything like 7 deliberative gentlemen could help with and partake in a beer while we're at it?
He's working hard. That's all I could add.
Our own.
I don't think he spends enough time in Spain.
I think he's totally missing that point.
I know what you're saying. If it had been, like I said, if it had been a little earlier, I would have invited y'all out for a boat ride, but.
Although a single malt Irish
Two dozen.
whiskey would make these wings go a lot smoother.
What would?
Bottle of single malt Irish whiskey.
Like Froy, that's what you're.
No, that's Scotch.
Oh, whiskey, that's, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Irish.
You
whiskey.
know what? I would have gone
Like
for,
writer's tears.
I would have gone for a berry white sundae. Soft serve, strawberries, blueberries.
Somebody said the fried chicken at the Frosty Boy is pretty good.
I've heard the same.
Yeah, I've had it.
I've heard that it's good.
Ah, we missed a craft.
Wait a second, Frosty Boys serves fried chicken?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an old brand. Like, it's been around forever. Yeah, yeah. What's it called?
Roaster.
It's- Roaster, yeah.
Whatever it is, roaster.
That's cool. Yeah, never knew.
And people say it's good,
Yeah, I've heard the same.
which is, I should try it, cause I love fried chicken. But it's like Kentucky, you get like a bucket of it, you get like 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2.
We've gone there, and got chicken a couple times.
Yeah.
Go next door and get ice cream.
So if you like fried chicken, do you travel to the south much?
I have traveled to the south, but I wouldn't say.
So my kids go to University of Alabama, and in Tuscaloosa, there are like 45 franchises of this Foosackleys, the best. fried
Really?
chicken. There's a Burger King operated, it looks a little bit like Colonel Sanders, I forget the name of it, another chain, it's only in the south.
Hmm.
It's amazing, there's like all these chains that we don't have here, and they all serve fried chicken. It's like,
Now you're making me, there's one that I had, it was in Arizona, but it's a fried chicken chain. Oh, it's gonna bug me. They have one in Times Square too. That was really
What color is the logo?
So then
Like
what?
black and white?
orange.
Popeyes.
What
No.
happened then?
They used to, my kids like Raising Canes, which.
Raising Cane's, that's the one.
Oh, they got
yes.
that in East Lansing.
Yeah, do they?
Yeah,
Have
and I
you
don't
ever
think it's
had
that
it?
good.
It's
How about,
You really like it?
what's it called? Dave's Famous Hot? Dave's Hot Famous? Have you had that one?
Yeah, that
Hey,
was.
Famous barbecue?
Famous?
That's the-
No, it's
Famous-
called Dave's Hot.
Oh, no.
So you don't like Raising Cane's?
It's okay, but it's not like.
I thought the dipping sauce was what made that.
Yeah, I would see that. I used to love
This really
Boston
not
Market
at
when
all.
they were still
I
around,
did too.
you know? You go in there and get like a really good home, like, fast food, but still.
Oh, yeah, Dave, it's called Dave's Hot Chicken. It's amazing.
Sorry, I always
The only
forget.
downside is,
No, sorry.
oh, and this is the cheapest I found it, like a corner of Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 chicken strips and like 3 fries, not like 3 large ones, I mean like 3 fries, $17. Outrageous, but
That's what we need. We need a Cracker Barrel here in Cascade.
They're going through.
Do
there was
not
a-
put that in minutes, don't give anybody any.
They looked
Few
at the
dark
Wall
ones in
Street
there.
Journal on an article.
Yeah,
about,
they're
it
reorganizing.
was today.
Yeah, it was.
Cracker Barrel? Yeah, oh yeah, I think I
They're
did see
gonna have
that.
smaller restaurants. They're gonna have different menu items.
Previous variance for.
yeah.
board
They're having
would
prices.
not be
Big time.
Well, get rid of all that knick-knack crap, cause nobody buys that stuff, and you could shrink your
That's what they're
serving
talking
area
about.
by half, cause the place is never packed.
No brain teasers anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're good.
but the food's good though.
You know what would be nice right now are those rocking chairs.
They could put one where the red roof end is.
They could.
I would support that. Support that. Smoky Bones still.
We could
do
put
this.
another, it's like Zaxby's. I guess it's
Barely.
Zaxby's, Raising Cane's, famous, Dave's Hot.
I miss Mr. Fables.
Mr. Famel's good.
Actually,
Bagel
Noco,
sauce?
Noco has chicken and waffles, and
Fabulous.
it's good.
The Mr. Fabulous burger.
You know who
Oh, yeah, I guess.
bought his recipes, right?
Noco.
Oh,
The
no.
owner of Yesterdog bought
Really?
the Fables recipes in the bankruptcy. Yeah.
Tupelo
No
Hunt.
kidding.
Good story.
Really?
Wow.
Got them all.
On the property? or
Right
is
below,
it except
Willow
for
Johnson,
building?
you know, on the corner
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Fabulous Fables.
Noco does it on their special menu. They're like specials, and they've had it for a couple weeks now, and it's surprisingly good.
I'll have to stop in. This brings new meaning to like watching paint dry.
Oh, it's
Good place.
Good, I'm saying, it's always back.
Good, yeah.
No complaints, just fact.
So.
Man, we are almost there, guys. Look at this.
There's 6 of us and we only need.
I
like
assume that you
4.
have read all the changes that we
Oh,
just
okay,
made
like,
and they're all good. 'cause they-
Good.
Yeah.
You want out?
It just seems long that we're all sitting here.
I'd make
No,
a
we're almost
motion
there.
that, member Brunel is dismissed.
That would sure make the meeting minute review.
Yeah, he has to be.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye. All right,
I've got paperwork to do.
We're out of here.
just, remember what we talked about.
Man, I
You're
walk
so-
with any member tonight.
Yep.
That's second.
Yep.
You need a ride home.
We're here, we're here. We're
The yellow
ready.
folder, no, he's been dismissed, he's gone.
We're ready.
Oops.
That is just unbelievable.
After I solved the riddle of why can't I move my mouse on my screen.
Just go.
Don't worry about it. We'll shut.
Yeah, we got it. You're on your way.
I realized I was looking at her screen.
All right, so Township's planning staff with the assistance of legal counsel has substantially revised the minutes to reflect the comments discussed earlier, correct typographical and spelling errors, improve clarity, and better reflect the contents of the meeting held on May 20th. You thankfully still have a quorum, so if you would like to make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected during the meeting, that would be in order.
We have a motion.
Do we want to do a roll call so we can identify who is here?
Sure. You should, well, the minutes should reflect who left.
So let the minutes reflect that member Richardson and member Brunel were dismissed because they had early morning commitments.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Support.
revised minutes.
And supported, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No, we got to do other business. We got to acknowledge visitors.
Oh,
We have to acknowledge other
visitors. You're
We
right.
have to acknowledge visitors. We have to do other business.
Okay.
And then we can adjourn.
Any visitors online?
God bless. them.
Gosh,
Oh,
shocking.
any other business?
Anybody says anything.
you dare.
I'll save it for next time.
Me too.
Okay, Article 13, can we have a motion to adjourn at 10:19?
20.
And when?
20.
Wait.
Yes,
You got it?
yes, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, support.
Okay, all in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.